Who you want it?
All the way. We're good? We're in?
Bet.
1, 2,
Sick.
3,
I got to figure out some sort of music,
4,
background music
5,
to play.
6,
over-
7 AFC losses. Patriots are probably out of the playoff picture.
That's
Unlucky.
tough. That's tough.
1, 2,
Kind of invalidates the TikTok I made.
A little bit.
4.
All good, though. You just said they could be.
6,
You didn't say they
6
would
Jaguars.
be. Dude, I'm excited for this show. Look at all this. Look at all this. Look at all that material.
6 Jaguars.
All on the Broncos. It's about to be a good day.
And I have 3 graphics that just disregard everything you were going to say.
Yeah, I know one of them, and I've got I know 2 of them, and I've got the counters to both those, so.
Well, they won't be good enough.
All right, cool.
1, 2, 3. I will hear you out, though. 5, 6.
Preach.
Shit. The
Well,
Bengals better have not lost 6 AFC games, or this is over. Potential discrepancy. Broncos week 4. You have both the Broncos and Bengals winning week 4.
Bengals are 9-8, right?
Both.
You give the loss to the Broncos. Give the loss to the Broncos.
Well, now that's going to make the Bengals.
Another 9-8.
That makes another 9-8 team. Now we have 5 9-8 teams.
What is up? Welcome to the live stream.
1,
JP is currently trying to figure out
2, 3,
tiebreakers and Jack's predictions.
5 Broncos AFC
And
losses.
it is, I think JP said Jack had a 4-way tie for the 5-way tie.
Yes.
For 2 spots.
You are muted, I think, Jack.
No,
I can't-
5-way
Five-way
tie
tie
for
for
1 spot.
Well, I thought if the Broncos dropped down, they would open up a spot.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so it's a 5-way tie for 1 spot.
That's crazy.
For
Well,
two. For 2.
For 2.
I'm
sorry.
gonna move my computer a little
Still
bit.
crazy.
2, 3, 4.
We're gonna give JP a few minutes to figure that out.
5. And the Broncos had 1, 2, 3, 4,
Is this for the 7 seed?
5, 6.
It's a bunch of 9-8 teams.
Dang.
Wait, 1, 2, 3.
You should just
4,
give him one of an
5,
extra win.
6.
Just pick the team you wanted and just give them an extra win.
I have a 3-way tie for the 7 seed. The Bengals are in at a 6 seed,
All right.
and I have a 3-way tie for the 7 seed.
And what's the tiebreaker after that? Coin flip?
Common opponents
You don't have to figure that out right now.
at minimum 4.
We do not have to figure that
At
out.
minimum 4? What does that mean?
At minimum 4 common opponents between the
Gotcha.
teams that have played each other and their win percentage. The Bengals, the Bengals are already in. So it's between Steelers, Jacksonville, and the Broncos.
Steelers. You had the Steelers, Jacksonville, and the Broncos. That's crazy.
That's a squad right there.
That is.
I think it's going to go to the Broncos.
Who would you like to be your 7 seed for the time being?
The Broncos. I mean, they're the team I think is the best out of those 3.
AFC West champions.
Disagree. As they are the 7 seed. Going up against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I assume
they
you have the
played
Chiefs as the 2 seed.
They would play
The one.
the Bills,
Yeah, the Bills.
Who's your 1 seed?
the Ravens.
Oh,
Kansas.
our podcast 1 seed is the Bills.
Yes.
Because
Right
we've
now.
got the Bills going 16-1 as
It's
the
also my
podcast.
1 seed, and your 1 seed.
Yeah.
Not Jack's 1 seed.
Jack just had to be different.
What can I say?
He's rooting for that. Are you rooting for?
I think that applies to you more than it applies to Jack, personally.
Dude, I feel so good about picking the Broncos to win the West. Like I feel so confident.
I'll put a cookout tray on the line.
You already owe me one. I'll take another.
We're gonna.
You trying to win yours back?
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of wager on this.
Well, me and Jack just bet a cookout tray.
Well, we can make a
you
pod.
get, like,
We'll do
wager
it. We'll
that
do
with
it in
odds
show.
on
We'll do
it.
it in show.
We need to wait for a podcast for that.
Yes, absolutely. But there has to be something on.
Is this your best bet? Like Sanders' best bet?
Something where like you kind of get like a slap on the wrist. And
What's
then,
the value of this?
Well, it's plus 325. So it's something of he gets like maybe he gets like punched in the face in terms of pain, and then we have to like sprain our ankle that would knock us out for a month, kind of pain.
Yeah,
But in terms
yeah.
of a punishment,
Yeah. Why can't it just be a reward? Why does it have to be a punishment?
I guess it could be a reward.
I'm much more of a positive. Like I'd much rather be rewarded than you punch me in the face. All right, what's
Well,
up?
I want
Today's
you to be-
episode,
I
Jack
do
and
want
JP
you to
are
be-
punching me in the face.
With the way I feel, it's like you should be punished for making this kind of take. But
I-
I don't mind the reward system.
I'll be interested. I feel pretty good about my arguments. I'm not going to change your mind. I wonder if you will be less bang your head against the table once I'm done.
More than likely not.
That's tough.
How many times in a row have the Chiefs won the division?
10 years.
Yeah.
This year after they win it will be 10.
Is that long enough for it to be like a shoe-in or whatever you would call it? Like,
yes,
you know,
as long as Mahomes is still the quarterback.
Yeah. Because, like, I know you're thinking, like, you know, if the NFC East changes winners every year, so therefore, like,
Yeah.
it's just a fact the Eagles won't win it this year.
Except that's not how it works.
Wow.
But
That's literally how it's worked for 20 years, though.
yeah. But it's not how it works.
Can't wait to be able to just hold my mic. That's going to feel great, man.
You basically have to hold it right now. So.
I feel like you don't. It's not the holding it. It's gonna be the not. Like if you had a thing that didn't move, I think you'd like it, which you could have had. We'll see.
No, I
think I'm going to get a hat and attach it to the front of my hat, and it just, like, hangs down in front of my face.
Then it's gonna.
I'd have to be a pretty strong
Yeah.
hat.
Yeah.
It could be one of those big hats that they have. What are they called?
I think they're just called big hats.
Yeah.
Are they called big hats? I thought they were called something
I'd be
else.
surprised if they weren't just called big hats.
But didn't the MLB say that players weren't players were wearing them in locker room press meetings, press conferences, and they were told they couldn't?
I think the Braves had one on a, and I think multiple teams did, and yeah.
Yeah, it got shut down because it's not whatever their hat provider is.
It's probably going to be, if I had to guess, Jaguars are the 7th seed.
Okay.
With the way I looked at it.
Okay, we ready to start?
Braves are worse than the Pirates,
We
but
wanna go
yeah,
ahead
we are
and
ready
do
to
the
start.
show.
Where they are worse than the Pirates.
It's crazy. Crazy times we live in.
Yep,
Shall we?
I'm ready whenever.
JP, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's kick it off.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Technical Fowl podcast. You're here with Jack Anderson, and I'm joined by my two friends, Sanders Oakley, who may be about to have his podcast credentials revoked, and JP Pusilowski, who may, I guess you're in charge of potentially getting those revoked. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's up to you if that happens or not.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, welcome to one of the most anticipated episodes of the show, I would say. This is probably third for me behind our March Madness show, and then if you count the NFL draft as a show, that obviously is up there too.
Yeah.
But kind of more run-of-the-mill shows. This one feels like it carries
This is
a lot of
anything
weight.
but run of the mill.
It's going to be very contentious, possibly one of the more heated episodes we've had.
Yes.
We want to shake it out before it gets started.
We can touch gloves. Touch gloves. I'll do that.
Good podcast. Good podcast. It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, it should be good. Yeah,
This guy gets it. He's on my side. Bo knows. He's right there with me.
This year finally wins the Heisman. As just mentioned, Bo Nix, we are previewing the AFC West in this show. So we'll give you a Broncos preview, a Chiefs preview, a Chargers preview, and a Raiders preview, which I know JP is very excited about. Y'all can see his Geno Smith jersey
Yeah.
he has currently.
Best $18 I've ever spent.
Great value.
I only bought it for the bit because Sanders wanted to do an emergency pod when Gino went to the Raiders.
Yep.
And then
I can't wait to
Then
talk
he
about this.
turned
I can't wait to talk about this, and I can actually explain my thought
no
process.
longer a Geno Smith guy, apparently.
Never
In fact,
was a Geno Smith guy.
Geno is terrible. So that's going to be a big debate here today. And I
I finally get to explain myself.
And
This
the-
is the emergency podcast.
am a Geno Smith guy. In fact,
I think I'm neutral on Geno Smith. Is that allowed?
that's allowed.
Cool.
We live in a world where Geno Smith is the sixth best quarterback in the AFC, and we have to live with that. I've already made that claim. That's not a new claim. That's what I did a 50-minute episode on.
Okay, I'm gonna be the one banging my head against the table if you say that for real. That's crazy.
Can't argue with data, and I'm about to show you a ton of data.
Awesome. The
The
eye
viewers'
test.
heads are about to explode.
The eye test.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make my main point right now. I could not care less about the eye test because if we're going to put the eye test as something that matters, and then you want to go ahead and say that Herbert is a top 5 AFC quarterback, which I assume you would say, he's in that class right below Josh.
Yes, yeah.
That's how you had him listed on your tier list
Yeah.
as well. Then you can't come out here and say, just because he played bad in the playoffs, oh, he's got all this talent. We do the same thing to Josh, to Lamar, to Joe, to Patrick. If they don't play well in the playoffs, who cares what their numbers were? Who cares what the eye test?
But they're still in the top tier. So you're still giving them grace in that regard. We'll get into it when we get into
because
the
they
Chargers.
Let's not spoil too much.
We'll get
Let's
into it when we
start-
get to the Chargers.
Yeah.
We get to start what I thought was going to be a more tame team we covered, and then Sanders drops a bombshell on us this morning. that I'll let him reveal.
Yeah. Should I go ahead
So
and get started?
the Denver Broncos are the first team up.
Yeah, the Denver Broncos. I'm very excited for this team, and y'all are about to find out why. I'm just going to go ahead and roll right into it. The story of the Broncos' 2025 season will be continuity. The Denver Broncos finished third in the AFC West last year, but they're set up for a much more successful season in 2025 as they return nearly 80% of their starters from the last year, including a quarterback who threw for nearly 4,000 yards with 30 touchdowns and 12 interceptions as a rookie. He had an 85.7 PFF grade from week 5 on. At the positions they did lose starters, they bring in guys like J.K. Dobbins to work behind an offensive line that finished first in run block win rate after playing the most games he has in a season in his career, dealing with injuries earlier on, and then spend a second-round pick on R.J. Harvey out of UCF to provide depth and a potential starter in the case that Dobbins misses time later on in the season. At UCF in 2024, Harvey rushed for 1,500 yards and had multiple touchdowns in 9 of his 12 games and failed to score in only one game all year. In the wide receiver room, they returned 1,000-yard wide receiver Cortland Sutton, who finished last season catching 6 touchdowns in the final 9 games, as well as 2023 second-round pick Marvin Mims, who had 5 touchdowns in the final 6 games of the season. At tight end, they do lose Adam Troutman, but they bring in Evan Ingram, who had career years in 2022 and 23 before injury sidelined him for nearly half of 2024. But in his time at Jacksonville, he was a reliable outlet for Trevor Lawrence, and the Broncos are certainly hoping he can get back to that 900-yard level as opposed to the sub-200-yard play they saw from guys like Adam Troutman, Lucas Kroll, and Nate Adkins last year. On the defensive side of the ball, they returned 8 starters to a unit that was 3rd in defensive points per game and 9th in defensive yards per game. The pieces they lost, they replaced with guys like Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga. Yep, I've got the phonetics there. We're good to go. Keep rolling. From the 49ers, and then the first-round pick in Jahdae Barron out of Texas to try and improve a secondary that finished 20th in defensive pass yards per game. Greenlaw is sitting around that 20. Like, I was looking at it earlier. Greenlaw is a top 25 linebacker, which isn't a lot, but when you think about the fact that teams are starting 2 to 3 linebackers, he's in the 25th percentile, which is not, or 75th percentile in the top 25%. So he's a very suitable starter. Last year, the Broncos reached the playoffs as a double-digit win team after starting the season 0-2 and then winning 9 of their next 12 before losing 2 one-possession games on the road to the Chargers and Bengals, and then closed the season with a dominant win over the Carson Wentz-led Chiefs. So a pretty irrelevant win. They were playing backups. This year, I'm excited, expecting an improvement in close games, as 6 of their 7 losses were by single digits, which is understandable when led by a rookie quarterback. But I expect Nix to take a step forward, faced with challenges that are somewhat unfamiliar to him, as in his 2 years at Oregon, 18 of their victories were by 2 or more possessions. Another advantage they have over last year's team is the schedule. Instead of facing the AFC North, which resulted in losses to the Steelers, Ravens, and Bengals, they play the AFC South, where I have them going 3-1, with wins over the Colts, Jags, and Titans. They also play the NFC East, and while that is a top-heavy division with the Commanders and Eagles, which I had them losing to, I think the Broncos have the 2 more beatable teams in the Cowboys at Giants at home, coming off matchups against the Commanders and Eagles respectively, meaning they'll be worn down by 2 of the better teams in the NFL. I've got them going 2-2 against the NFC East. I think the only thing that will stop the Broncos is bad luck, like we saw last season. They lost a game-winning kick against the Chiefs, or they lost after having a game-winning kick against the Chiefs blocked. They lost 6 games by 1 possession. And so I ask y'all, since you're both lower on the Broncos, JP, you've got them going 9-8. Jack, you've got them going 10-7. Is that 9 wins, 10 wins, is that the ceiling for this team?
First, I'll make an amendment. I now have them going 9-8.
Okay,
Post,
well then you're both
post change.
So is single-digit wins, is that the ceiling?
It's 100% not the ceiling of this team. I can say that right now. I mean, like you said, they won 10 last year, and by all accounts, they didn't take a step back from a roster standpoint. So I wouldn't say it's the ceiling. JP?
No, it's not the ceiling. In fact, 11 wins is very possible. I think your argument is it's not whether Denver is good enough or not. You're too low on Kansas City, having them at 10 wins, and I would like to now table that argument for
Understandable.
Kansas City and not Denver itself. I know Denver could easily win 12 games if they wanted to. I don't disagree from a scheduling perspective. I had the same things that you just said in terms of 3-1 in the AFC South and the 2 wins at home in the NFC East. But I don't think single digits is a ceiling by any means. They shouldn't be there because of how they're set up. And in fact, I think they're set up great given what next year's going to look forward to. But I have them missing the postseason, and we'll get into that with the other teams. I think they're a year behind where they are going to be have the actual shot to maybe win the division next year. But calling them to win the division this year is pure blasphemy, and it solely is a Kansas City take more than it is a Denver take, and you're way too low on Kansas City, and we can get into that later.
All right.
Yes, sir.
What would you say? So if you say that they're not where they need to be, what are they missing?
Right
They
now,
return to top 10 defense.
I know, I understand that.
Yeah.
Right now, it's year 2 for Nix, year 3 for Peyton. Year 2, we've now seen with C.J. Stroud's the most recent example. We see a slight decline a little bit as quarterbacks are now on tape. We saw it with Lamar Jackson as well. His year 2, not as great, even though he made it to the postseason. They found answers for him. Lamar was able to ascend past that. We'll see if C.J. is able to ascend past that. You would probably make the case that Jordan Love was no different in his year 2 than Stroud in that case. So I'm fearful there, but I don't think they're there from a talent perspective. Even if they return great players to the defense and add on some good players offensively, I don't have that trust, which is insane for me to say. As a Saints guy and Sean Payton being the head coach, I just don't think the playmakers are there yet. I think it's right now. Denver has $53 million in dead cap for Russell Wilson last year, or this year, I should say. So that's 20% of their cap is in Russell Wilson right now, and so the playmakers are just aren't there because the money isn't there. So I think next year, the Broncos. Apologies. This year's $32 million in Russell Wilson. Still substantial. That's almost Geno Smith's contract. 10% of the cap. After this year, they'll be off that contract. $32 million opens up a free agency, and I think they'll be able to add a ton of weapons. But a Cortland Sutton is really the only weapon I trust.
Right.
While Evan Ingram has shown a high ceiling.
Shown a low floor as well.
He's shown a really, really low floor historically throughout his entire career, both in New York and Jacksonville. R.J. Harvey is a great piece, but if he was so good, why was he not drafted in the first round? Why was he not viewed the same as the other players up there like an Amari and Hampton? If he's this good, it feels a little gadgety a little bit. I'm not necessarily – I'm going to see it till I believe it when I see it on that. J.K. Dobbins, of course, with his injury history. J.K.'s the leading candidate to be running back 1 in-house right now.
Yeah.
R.J. Harvey could – easily fill that role later in the season, but I'll believe it when I see it there. And outside of Cortland Sutton, I get it. Marvin Mims had the touchdowns to end the year, but I almost feel like, Nick Westbrook-Akine had a bunch of touchdowns in the season. Touchdowns that isn't necessarily a stat that says, okay, this guy is super elite. While it is the point of the game to score points, I don't think the 5 touchdowns in the last 6 games is is Marvin Mims a wide receiver 2 to you? Like a wide receiver 2 in the NFL?
I think part of it is his youth, right? He's drafted in 2023, so he just played his second season.
Let me rephrase that question. Is Marvin Mims better than everybody in the Packers wide receiver room?
I would say he's on the same level, but y'all know how I don't like any of the Packers wide receivers, so I would put Marvin Mims on the same level as a wide receiver 2. I consider the entire Packers wide receiver room wide receiver 2. I'd put Marvin Mims in that same class.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I think it's slightly contradictory if you're going to slight the Packers and be so low on them because of the receiver room. Mims being the second best option.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton, I think I don't necessarily have a ton of trust in that.
It's also, just to finish on the Marvin Mims thing, looking at this, I didn't get this written down, so I didn't get to talk about it. But if you look at his yards as well, it's not just the touchdowns. He had double-digit yards 3 times before Week 11, and then had 49 yards, 44 yards, 105 yards, 20, 62, 103, 51, and then 12 in their wild card loss. So it wasn't even just a touchdown thing as it was getting him involved in the second half of the season. And I think that's one of the reasons that the weapons that Nix has does excite me, is because it clicked down the stretch more so than it did when he'd been in the building for 3 months. which makes perfect sense. You bring in a rookie, like it's not going to click right away. But the more now he's going into year 2 with the same weapons that in the second half of the season he had 6 touchdowns and 5 touchdowns and 800 yards. And I mean, like I said, out of Mims 515, all but 60 came in weeks 11 through the wildcard game.
Let's pull up their Denver Broncos record versus the AFC West. Let's do that one first. This is one of my huge ones on top of the fact that Denver only beat 2 playoff teams last year, one of which was the Carson Wentz Kansas City Chiefs. The other one was week 3 against the Buccaneers. Yeah, I get they had a lot of close losses, but that's a statement. You're not going to win a division beating just 2 playoff teams unless you are playing a 4th-place schedule, and they're not even playing at a 3rd-place schedule. But historically, since Peyton Manning, they have not had a single winning season against the AFC West, and that has been through an onslaught of teams in Las Vegas and Oakland, even at that time, with Derek Carr times and Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. The Chargers, really no different. That even stretches back to Phillip Rivers' days.
Yeah.
And Broncos have not been good in the AFC West, and you can't win the division if you're not good in the division. And historically, that's 10 years. Again, I continue to harp on stuff like that. If that's the case for a long period of time, it seems to always be the case. Can they go 4-2 and win the division? Sure. But I don't think you can. I just don't think it's possible for Denver, one, to win the division, but to win the division in this manner where they only win 11 games.
Yeah.
Then I think you're just too low on Kansas City. I think you're too low even on Las Vegas in some ways. I'm not a Justin Herbert guy. I think you're too low on Los Angeles in that way. Pull up the other Denver Broncos. This is in division. Like, they have had, since Peyton Manning, 2 winning seasons, the season after and last year. And I understand that it can be different. Second-year quarterback, they finally have answered quarterback situation. I think that's got to be a huge weight off of John Elway's shoulders and then Broncos fans' shoulders to go through the hell that was Trevor Siemian, Case Keenum, Joe Flacco, Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, and then Russell Wilson. But they still have had just 2 winning seasons, and I don't see it necessarily from a talent perspective. I also think defense can fluctuate from year to year, and while they were great last year, I'm curious to see if that's the case even with bringing in these players. I think Dre Greenlaw and Ufanga, excellent, sure. Are we sure they're still going to be excellent? Because there's a reason San Francisco let them walk.
Right.
And it wasn't necessarily all to do with money, considering the money they were able to give Brock Purdy this offseason. So are they still that impactful? I'm curious. Pat Surtain's great. You didn't mention Nick Bonito, who's actually the WAR stat I bring from reference. Yeah. He was Denver's best player last season, and he returns again this year. Like I said, I just don't think. I think it's impossible that Denver wins the division unless Mahomes gets hurt, injuries aside.
Right.
And I definitely don't think it's possible they're winning the division, only winning 11 games. I just don't see that.
So I think that it would be fair to say that like your shock and outrage is not at having the Broncos win 11 games. It's at having the Chiefs win.
I'm still shocked and outraged. It is Kansas City related.
Yeah.
But I'm still shocked and outraged you've picked a team that wasn't Kansas City to win the division.
Right, but
and
if I just showed you my Broncos picks, if I just showed you my thoughts on the Broncos, you would be like, all right, like
that makes sense. I
disagree,
with that.
but like cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's basically what I said is like when we were talking about pre-show earlier today, I was like, when I saw your text saying the Broncos win the division, because of how highly I view the Chiefs, I expected you to have the Broncos winning like 13, 14 games. And so then I got onto the spreadsheet and I was like, oh, you only have them winning 11 games. That's not that crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
we can talk about the Chiefs in a minute. I do want to go back to the offensive side of the ball and talk about Evan Ingram for a second, because I think also you talking about how he wasn't as productive. I think a lot of that could have been situational with the Giants. Did he catch the tail end of Manning's career? How long has he been there?
He was there for his entire rookie contract, 4 years, and then he went on from there.
To the Jags, where he had 2 900-yard years and then was injured and had like 400 yards in like 6 games. So it wasn't a great year. I think that he provides another really good second/third option to complement Marvin Mims and in that wide receiver room. So I think that maybe we are more on this same page on the Broncos than I was expecting. And then we'll just have to have a really interesting conversation with the Chiefs. I'm really excited for RJ Harvey. I know you were also talking about how you had him as a potential starter in the second half of the season.
Yes.
I think he could be very good just because it's almost an expectation that J.K. Dobbins is going to miss some time. Last year was his first full season, I believe.
In a while, but he was excellent. He had 905 yards on the
he was
ground,
fantastic.
9 touchdowns. In only 13 games, he almost ran for 1,000 yards.
Sure.
It's similar to the Puka stat we talked about last week. Recovering off an Achilles injury, him to be at this stage, to even do what he did last year was actually remarkable, which is why I think he's earned that running back 1 spot. But continue on Harvey.
No, that's kind of all I wanted to say is given his production at the college level and maybe some of the lows, the people who are low on him, it comes from UCF. Are they Big 12 now?
They are.
I've lost track. Okay. But they're just not quite the same name school, and Big 12 is not the same competition as you're going to see in the Big 10 and SEC. So if a guy puts up like those kind of stats in the SEC or Big 12, then yes, he's a first-round running back. But it's because in the Big 12, it might be slightly lower competition level.
I understand the.
I also just go ahead.
The speed is a threat, and speed kills. I just, like I said, I'll see it when I believe it.
I also just like, this is just a general rule of thumb, but I feel like it especially applies with running backs. Like, just so many running backs will put up good stats in college, and it just doesn't always translate to the NFL.
Yeah.
I agree the speed is definitely very real, but just because he ran for 1,400 yards, I watched my boy Isaiah Spiller tear it up at A&M for years, and he can't get NFL carries because he's just really not that good. So, like, stats generally don't always translate, and I think especially for running backs, it just doesn't always go one-to-one at all. So, like, I don't know. He could be good because I look at his UCF stats, and I kind of immediately just toss those out the window. Like, I mean, it's not a negative.
Right.
He didn't rush for 500
Where
yards.
was that A&M running back drafted?
I mean, he was lower. I mean, I get that, but I'm just saying I would rather look at his skill and look at his tape than go, oh, he ran for 1,400 yards.
Yeah, and I guess that's my thing is like if he so I didn't watch a whole lot of Harvey's games because I work on Saturdays with athletics here,
Sure.
so I didn't get to watch a whole lot of UCF football.
And I wasn't tapped into UCF
Yeah.
either like that.
Fair. Well, maybe we should be this year. Who knows if they're gonna?
I
anyway.
don't think I will be.
No one.
They've got Scott Frost back though, so
Don't
no
care.
one was going to watch KJ Jefferson, quarterback.
is he still there?
No, but that was
last year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't get to watch any of RJ Harvey's game, but I think the combination of he put up the yardage, and so he's got the stats to back it up, and then he also has the draft pedigree to back it up going in the second round, as
Sure.
opposed to a guy like you said, your A&M guy. What did you say?
Isaiah Spiller.
Isaiah Spiller. I don't know where he was drafted, but
Chargers.
Yeah,
No.
he means round, though.
what round?
I think the 4th or 5th.
Yeah. So I mean, Harvey was drafted in the second.
It's
so-
Trevor Etienne, or not Trevor, but Travis Etienne was drafted
in the
highly.
first,
Mhm.
And
or upper second.
Very
he-
mixed opinions on him.
Very mixed opinions on how he's performed, so it's
Yeah.
not like it's a surefire lock.
It's not at all. And I'm not saying it is, but the potential is definitely there, and I'm excited to see it play out. Who did the Broncos? They took Jadae Barron first. I really had them mocked all offseason to take I had them taking Hampton,
Yeah.
which I really wish that had happened. And I guess Hampton ended up sliding to the Chargers. But yeah, that would have been
Mini
really
slide, maybe.
a really awesome.
They got someone to fall to them in their own right in Jadae Barron.
True,
So.
very true. I'm excited to see. The secondary was the worst part of that defense last year. Like I said, they were 20th in pass yards per game allowed, and in part that does come from facing Patrick Mahomes. Although they only had to face him once, but they had to face.
I don't think that has anything to do with facing Mahomes last season.
I mean, the weapons weren't there for Mahomes anyway.
Fair.
I think it was an incomplete group.
Yeah.
I mean, you had PS2 obviously, and no one's gonna try and say that he is the reason for a below average passing defense.
Right.
But
absolutely not. So, Final thoughts on the Broncos?
I want to give positives. I thought Bo Nix was actually really good last year. Pull up his stats,
Yeah.
if you don't mind. He's right. He was right there in the pack with almost all the quarterbacks I've shown now in the past week. Stafford, Kyler, at the 3,700 passing yards, 29 to 12 touchdown interception ratio for a rookie is excellent. And then 430 yards on the ground and 4 touchdowns. So the running game that wasn't necessarily a big part of his Oregon career, but was a huge part in his Auburn career, was there, and it was productive as well. He was third most in scrambles last season behind Jaden Daniels and then Caleb Williams, but Caleb scrambles on every single play ever, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. Bo was actually really productive at that last season, and I'm hopefully excited to see that occur again. And I just thought he was... The way he interacted with Sean Payton, I thought was beautiful all season. Being a Saints fan and seeing a ton of Sean Payton's coaching career, Drew Brees was no different in that. There were disagreements there, and even for a rookie to be able to do that. Now, he was a 39-year-old rookie, but 25 was. It's still a remarkable showing of character, confidence, the things that make a quarterback good, whatever you want to call it. That he was able to step up to Sean, talk back to Sean on a field in front of his team. Like, those are insane things to do even as a rookie, and he thought he handled that really well. Schedule-wise, I'm interested to see how it goes this season. They'll play in primetime 3 times, and then 2 other games, one in London and one on Christmas Day in Kansas City. I do want to, though, before we move on, I'd like to make the wager, whatever it is.
We do need
All
to
right,
do,
yeah.
We got to figure it out.
Picking the Broncos to win the division. Pull up the odds.
Yeah.
So the
AFC
odds for the AFC West, Kansas City's favored at -120, which I think there's a lot of value in that. I have bet that, by the way. And because that's as good as it's going to get all season, in my opinion, unless Mahomes
barring
gets hurt,
injury. Yeah.
which I am going to say in my Chiefs spoiler, but it's not in that Chiefs YouTube video, so it's not necessarily a spoiler unless you're watching it live. Mahomes is on ACL watch. But Broncos are plus 325, so we need some kind of wager here that is 3-1 to you, to us. Are there any ideas from the table?
Should we try and should we table that and let the fans have input? I think that could be fun.
I think we go down the reward route, even though my first
I don't want to get punched.
reaction would have been punishment route. But I think we could go down we can go down the reward route more than we can go down punishment route.
That's fine.
It doesn't have to be physical punishment either. That's not what I was thinking.
You have to play.
I was thinking of humiliation.
You have to play the first Anga Ball game in August in 3 layers, like long sleeve T-shirt, sweatshirt, sweatpants.
That would actually be pretty funny.
You are out there. I'm talking like it's like 2 degrees outside.
But the problem is that's just not gonna. When's that gonna transpire?
Oh, Schubert, yeah.
Because the season won't be over yet.
Yeah, that's
You have
my
to play like the last game of next spring.
when it's
I think you play the last or the first game post the Broncos not winning the division because
except
it'll
the
be January,
punishment.
and then
Oh,
you play
you have to
it.
play in shorts. But
Play in
we
his
do that
swim
anyway.
trunks or something.
Oh, in swim trunks.
Yeah.
All right, we'll I like we can figure it out. We can go punishment or reward, but there's definitely some fun stuff out there. We have a lot of time to figure it out. NFL season hasn't even started.
There will be something set for this in terms of if the Broncos make
If you
the
have
playoffs.
thoughts, leave them in the YouTube comments. Put them on Twitter. At us, Tech Fowl Pod.
Picking them to win division isn't even good odds either. Those are terrible odds. Those are absolutely atrocious odds. That should be
The
plus-
Raiders, though.
The Raiders is good value.
Do you have any money on the Raiders?
I need to double check that because there's a chance I did have Raiders winning the division
if
for no reason.
Just to be clear,
I have money on Oakland though.
Me and JP are on the
Vegas.
same side of this in terms of if the Broncos do make the playoffs, whether it's reward and Sanders gets something or it's punishment, both me and JP will take the punishment
Yeah.
and then vice versa.
It's winning the division though. They can make the postseason.
Yeah.
Did I say
would
make the
not doubt
playoffs? I apologize.
Yeah,
Win the
it's
division.
Win the division.
Win the division.
Win the division.
Yeah, this would be a bad bet from us if it was just make the playoffs. since we all three have them making the playoffs.
Yes.
So
As a podcast, we have them going 10-7, which is enough to get them into the playoffs as a wild card.
That is insane. So the Broncos are plus 325.
Whoa.
They have the same odds to win the AFC West.
Wow.
Which they have not done since Peyton Manning and they won the Super Bowl, as the Raiders do to make the postseason.
Oh, okay.
Insane. Good value on Raiders making the postseason.
Do you
which
have-
I have bet on.
Okay, awesome.
I would have been pretty surprised if you didn't bet on that.
You
got to bet on
two
your boy
other
Gino.
bets on the Raiders.
Sure.
As well.
We've got them
Which I'll
making the
reveal later.
playoffs as a wild card. Any other final thoughts on the Broncos? Are we good?
I'll just, yeah, I mean, they are a good team. I didn't really get around to it, but I mean, JP said it pretty perfectly, in my opinion, which is why I didn't re-chime in. But I kind of expect out of all the rookie QBs for him to be the most likely to take a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
And kind of hold this team back, even if it's not a season-long slump. If he gets off to a slow start to the season and they rack up some losses or whatnot, it's a tough division to come back from in that regard.
I nearly picked the Broncos to win 6 or 7 games. I think they're in that class of teams that made the postseason last year. Everyone's really high on them, and then they're just going to not do that this year. I think they are one of those teams in the AFC for me.
I have a question.
The other one is the Lions in the other division.
Kind of along the Broncos line, because it just came to me while we were doing the Broncos segment, so I had zero time to like research this or anything. I feel like in the NFL, it's very hard for a team to make like back-to-back jumps, if that makes sense. Like it's that progression doesn't typically happen that fast.
Okay.
So like I'm trying now. Of course, I'm trying to think of an example, but even something like I expect to happen this year, like the Commanders go to the NFC Championship the previous year, right?
Right. The next
I don't
jump
really
would be
expect them to make
Super
the
Bowl.
Super Bowl this year or win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be worse.
Yes. The Broncos made this jump into the playoffs this year. I don't really expect them to all of a sudden find themselves in the AFC Championship or in the Super Bowl this year. It just like I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to happen that fast.
I wish
think that's
we
what I'm
had
trying
time
to
to
say.
look at that because that would be really interesting.
I will, and I can try and return my findings on the next show if there's anything noteworthy.
Yeah.
But I think that's
We can save that for our big NFL show if we want.
I have something similar to that for the big NFL show.
okay. Cool.
Do you want to do you want to hint at it? Is it relevant to the Broncos?
No, it is.
All right,
It's
well, I'm
actually
gonna-
relevant to the Lions,
Interesting.
but that graphic can be saved.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think that was kind of part of what went into my decision with the Broncos, which is risky because I realized I have not done any research on it.
Yeah.
But I literally it didn't come to me until kind of just now of being
Yeah.
like, I kind of feel like that's how the NFL works.
Yep.
So.
Dude, did you see JP? Did you see the screenshot of the TikTok comment I sent y'all?
Yeah, that was kind of what I was doing all morning as well.
Dude, you
responding
were
to similar
cooking. You were
comments.
cooking. It was nice not being there by myself because sometimes it gets lonely in there.
Well, I didn't even know it was
Casuals
posted until this
say
afternoon.
that just because of the Kansas City game, Tua is not good in the cold.
Yeah.
Well, that's wrong.
Yeah.
He's 0-7 in games.
The Jets own Miami.
46 degrees or lower.
I've been getting okay. Was Justin Fields hurt last year?
No.
Would you call Justin Fields injury prone?
No.
Okay, I got into it in our YouTube comments with a guy who was like, Justin Fields missed 8 games last year due to injury.
Seven.
7. Well, initially, I think he started he changed a lot.
Gotcha.
And I also missed some stuff because Justin Fields did miss 1 game last year due to a hamstring injury, which he suffered in practice.
1 times 7 equals 7. He
Yeah.
got you.
But the dude just kept being like, Justin Fields is this injury, and look in college, this and this. And I said, didn't miss a game, threw for 7 touchdowns, didn't miss a game. Like, I was just like, this is just...
It's also
And-
kind of strange because he came at us in the comments of the video where I'm saying I'm not high on Justin Fields, and that's why I only have the Jets winning like 4 games.
Well, because the YouTube title was, is this the best situation
Oh.
he's been in?
Oh.
And he just commented in all caps and said no. And
He
I
didn't watch
said-
the video
And
then.
then he
He didn't
said,
watch the video.
where has been better? I said, where has been better? And he was like, the Chicago Bears had a better offense and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then I was like, oh, the Chicago Bears offense that was 31st in offensive, in sacks allowed, 25th in sacks allowed, 27th in sacks allowed, and 28th in sacks allowed. And then he just was like, well, Justin Fields is injury prone. And I was like, he didn't miss any games last season. He's like, he missed 7. And I was like, show me where.
Fun
It-
times in our comments.
It was actually very enjoyable because I've been waiting a couple hours or a day between to let it simmer and let myself think because I don't want to respond too quickly, but that was pretty fun. And then you were cooking in the Miami. Was it Miami you were cooking?
Yeah, Miami.
I
Well,
was
it's
in the
Buffalo.
Jets comments. There was a dude. This is for our viewers because y'all may not all have TikTok. We've got the Jets going 4-13, and losing to Miami. I probably twice if I had to guess. And he goes, "What are you talking about? We own Miami." And I went back and looked, and they are 2-8 in their last 10 games against Miami, with the 2 wins coming against Tyler Huntley and Skylar Thompson.
I just thought it was funny. In the Bills one as well, that a dude was getting mad at me for picking the Bills to be good.
Yeah.
Like,
Wait, how
come on,
dare
bro.
you?
Was he like mad because you're too high or because you're too low?
He thought I was way too high on Buffalo,
Okay.
which I do have them 14-3 winning the number 1 overall seed. But
Yeah.
My favorite is, I think, just the general fans where it's like they agree. You have their team doing well, and they probably agree with your overall record as a whole, but they just like can't believe that you had them losing this one game because, God forbid you have a bad week and
My
just
favorite,
lose week 11 somewhere you probably shouldn't lose.
yeah,
My favorite,
But
and I tweeted this out today, is the guys who are like, "You're just not high enough on this 5th rounder. He's having a great camp." And I'm like, come on.
They've been tuning into local radio shows.
There's a reason he was a 5th rounder. I'm not saying like Puka
They've been listening to
Nacua broke
Seahawk
out,
talk.
but not every NFL team is gonna have their 5th, 6th, and 7th rounders break out because they locked down the number 1 wide receiver in one drill during practice.
Sure.
I don't know. It's just that's not how that works. If it was, then everyone would trade their 1st rounders for 5th rounders.
Sure. Should we move on to the Chiefs?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can move on to the Chiefs. That was a fun little
It was a good little rant from us.
interlude. Now that we're big, people interact with us and we're celebrities.
Yeah, with our we're approaching 100 on TikTok, guys. It's
Yes.
gonna happen.
We got 2 YouTube subscribers today.
nice.
If you're watching this, well, I'm not going to put this in a video. So
I take full credit for that. I
work.
plugged our podcast to the president of Toyota
Massive.
hype.
Toyota, Mississippi today. So
That's sick. Well, if we can get what team is he a fan of?
I don't know. I'd have to ask.
We may need to figure that one out.
Yeah, I need to change my picks for that team and try and.
He's from Indiana, if I'm not mistaken.
So
All right,
could
Colts
be a
fan.
Colts fan.
Probably a
That's
Colts.
tough. I was not high on the Colts. Yikes.
We'll show him JP's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get Larry to put in a good word for us. Oh, I didn't get to talk about this, and I apologize.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
actually this is very 2 seconds back to the Broncos. I am higher on the Broncos than our Broncos fan is. Our Broncos
that
fan
scare
has them
you?
going 10-7.
Well, yeah, you're diabolical.
You said that 11-6 is not even like insane. It's just like
And then followed up by saying you almost had them only winning 6 games.
this is true.
So-
All right, I didn't mean to. I'm not trying to get us to talk about the Broncos again. I wish I talked about that.
I've not seen him happier talking about a team on the show.
That was really fun because I put in probably 4
A division
hours.
rival
I put
of
in
your new
yeah,
team.
a division
And
rival
you're,
of my
and
new
you're
team.
giddy defending them.
I put in more prep for the Broncos than I did for my team.
Well, I'm about to talk really positively of the team I absolutely hate as well. So,
At least
fair.
you're you can put biases aside and do it.
yes.
You want to go? Take it away.
Yes. The Kansas City Chiefs had one of the best seasons in NFL history last season, going 15-2, escaping Buffalo again before getting destroyed by the Eagles in the Super Bowl. The sour taste and cap to the season has naturally created a revisionist history view of what was truly another remarkable season for the Chiefs. Decimated by injuries, roll graphic, in the wide receiver room, the Chiefs still had a top 15 offense and were 15-1 with Mahomes in the regular season. The Super Bowl ultimately came down to what happened in the COVID Bowl, pass protection. Mahomes was sacked 6 times in the Super Bowl and threw 2 costly picks, including a pick 6. He also had a fumble due to the pressure in the Super Bowl. You can go ahead and look at the graphic, and from an injury perspective, they were destroyed. Rashee Rice getting hurt by his own teammate, 16 games. Hollywood Brown missed 14 games to start the season. Pacheco broke his leg. Jalen Watson got hurt. Juju, McColl, Sky Moore, who was good 2 years prior in the Super Bowl, was hurt as well much of last season. The other one, roll the starting left tackle one. The Chiefs started 4 left tackles last season, tied for the most in the league, with the Cowboys, the Giants, the Patriots, and the Browns. The Chiefs' record was 17-3. Jack, what would you have to guess was the other 4 record?
What do you mean the other 4 record?
The rest of those teams combined, the Cowboys, Giants, Patriots, and Browns, were 17-51.
I see. Okay,
They lost 48 more games and won the same amount of games as the Kansas City Chiefs last season, starting the same amount of left tackles, and yet we don't have the Chiefs winning the division over there. Rashee Rice was sentenced to 30 days in jail, which he must serve in the next 5 years, and he will be on probation for that time period. He's expected to be suspended by the NFL, and the current guess is 4 games of the season. Roll graphic. Rashee Rice, before he got hurt in those first 3 weeks, was wide receiver 1 in fantasy football, and I had him. Even in the league, I ended up winning the championship. Tied third for targets with 29, number 1 in receptions for 24, almost 300 receiving yards through the first 3 games, and then 2 touchdowns as well. And that brings on to this season, where we expect a ton of more help, especially in the wide receiver room. It is hard to get as unlucky as they did from a receiver's perspective next season. And then also, which jokingly people have been talking about because he was good in the Super Bowl, but roll the Xavier Worthy graphic. There is promise to look at this might be actually a dynamic receiver room and a dynamic offense this season. Showtime is being called for in Kansas City, and that is because of the way Xavier Worthy played Week 11 through the Super Bowl last season in the absence of Rashee Rice. 7 touches a game, just as many total yards per game, 7 total touchdowns. Rashee Rice, like I showed, was one of the top receivers in the league through the first 3 weeks last season. And so this looks to be a potential dynamic core at receiver. And I do want to roll one more graphic. Roll the AFC West division winners since Peyton Manning.
Oh, that's the records. I'll find it. You keep going.
No, I'm going to wait here until that's up there.
Nope. Yes, got it. Now it's up.
Yeah, so, Jack, tell me every team that's on the list.
The Kansas City Chiefs are on the list, as well as the Kansas City Chiefs.
Who won it in 2019?
I believe it says the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, okay, so we picked the Broncos to win the division after the Chiefs have won it every single year. And the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback is roll graphic Patrick Mahomes, who last season, even though he was called terrible, and they were called lucky, and they won a ton of one-score games, and they are one of the worst undefeated teams ever, which they were undefeated before they ended up losing to Buffalo in the regular season. Still threw for more yards than all of the quarterbacks I've shown in the last week. Had a 93.5 passer rating, same amount of touchdowns to interceptions almost as the other teams, and this is with all of the injuries at the wide receiver core and the troubles at left tackle. So my question to you, Jack.
Yep.
You have the Kansas City Chiefs going 13-4. Do you agree with everything I've just said?
Yeah, pretty much to a T. I think the offense should take a huge step forward this year, simply just from a health standpoint. The Showtime aspect, I was thinking about it while you're talking about it, kind of getting some of that, Tyreek Hill level speed back into the offense consistently, opening up the field for Mahomes. It feels like they've had to be a bit more grit and grind offensively these past few seasons. And I think they kind of have more of that punch, the over the top stuff this season really opened things back up.
Yeah, it's
so
a dangerous
I agree.
Group of weapons, and Travis Kelce is a year older, but was still great last season. Not great for the way he's played throughout his career, but for a tight end, he was still in the top half of the league. Pacheco returns as well. They also get a pretty cool addition in Elijah Mitchell, who'd been a productive back for the 49ers whenever ex-running back was hurt, and he came in. Gardner Minshew becomes the backup, so the Chiefs' quarterback room just got 10 times better. No, that's a joke. But I do want to say offensive line is the huge question mark of the season. And it is the reason Mahomes is 3-2 in Super Bowls and not 5-0 is because the offensive line play is so bad. Nick Wright, super Chiefs fan, and even Chiefs fans in general are so high on the additions that they brought in. Josh Simmons, who fell to them in the draft, as well as there's his name. Wait, no, that's not. Jalen Moore. Sorry, I was trying to find his name. Jalen Moore, who was the backup left tackle for Trent Williams and did not play last season. They're really high on the two of them, and they think, one, Josh Simmons, who the big concern was his health coming into the draft because of the torn ACL last year. They did not expect him to be ready to go for training camp. In fact, they did not expect him to be ready to go until halfway through the season. And just 2 days ago, he was seen, or yesterday actually, he was seen punching his teammate in training camp, practicing fully healthy. So he's good to go. But I'm concerned again with Jalen Moore as well. That's where I'll throw it to you, Sanders. You have them going 10-7, not winning the division. Which roll division winning graphic if you don't mind while you talk about.
I think I lost. I can't find it. I don't know where it went.
If you can, you don't have to roll that one. But they have won the division 9 years running. Why are they not winning the division this year?
Because they won it in the past does not guarantee that they will win it in the future. We've seen other teams. I had an example earlier, and I don't think I wrote it in my notes, but there are other teams that are dominant and then are just have a bad season, have a down year. I also am low on this offensive line. That I do have in my notes. So I do not think the O-line is fixed from last year. And like you said, it's the reason they lost the Super Bowl. They lost their second highest graded pass blocking O-lineman in Joe Tooney, and they bring back Jawan Taylor, who led the team last year in sacks allowed with 7. He allowed 7 sacks last year. He's playing right tackle, and then they have a rookie playing left tackle. So I'm just not. Jawan Taylor also struggled with penalties, I believe. I was trying to pull that set up. He had 19 penalties. So it's just I'm not excited about that situation.
Can I push back on your first point?
About the sacks allowed or losing Joe Tooney?
Just because like the dominance has to end at some point, kind of.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Would you say Patrick Mahomes is comparable to Tom Brady?
He is comparable to Tom Brady, and I am aware the Patriots won it every year except for 2008 when Tom Brady tore his ACL.
And his second year in the season, or his second year in the NFL. That was the only time it ever happened. So this is, I think it's just a completely different scenario.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mahomes has played bad enough, considering the amount of Super Bowls he's been to in his young career. The fact that he's been in the AFC Championship every single year he's played as a starter full-time. I still think it's insane if you're going to be low on Kansas City because he is in that class of Brady. And this is where I'm dumbfounded in that fact that you haven't picked Kansas City to win the division, when in my eyes they have made great additions to this team. Health has helped them a ton and should help them a ton this season. I guess let's go through their schedule maybe. And
well, hold on. I have a couple.
If you have a couple points, go ahead.
I do have my other big point besides offensive line play, which I am very concerned about, is luck. All right. Can you tell me, I'm sure you can, the Chiefs' record in one possession games last year?
Undefeated?
12-0. They went 12-0 one possession games last year. Do you know the last time a team won, or the time that I found, a team won double-digit games in one possession?
I do not know.
2022 Minnesota Vikings, a dominant team.
I didn't realize they got to there.
They went 11-0, and then the next year they brought back. Hold on, let me find my. They went 11-0, and then last year they brought back 9 starters on offense, traded for T.J. Hawkinson, and brought back 9 of their 11 highest graded qualifying defenders, and went 7-10. Including 4 and 7 in one possession games.
Who was the quarterback?
The quarterback was the same Kirk Cousins who led them to 11-0 in one possession games.
But
he is not the same.
Hasn't been to 5 Super Bowls and an AFC Championship every single year.
No, but you are always going to see regression to average, because that's
the Chiefs.
Mahomes had a kind of bad year last year.
Average.
Yes,
is the AFC Championship and winning the division every single year. That's the floor. That's the floor for Mahomes.
Teams don't just
can't go
undefeated in one possession games because you're going to have a field goal blocked and you're going to have an interception.
I think they're
actually. I think
they're not going to be in one possession games
because they're better this year.
Because they're better.
Yes,
they're way better because of health. It's a huge factor, and it's just insane to doubt Mahomes when the floor is winning the division and the AFC Championship. A bad season for the Kansas City Chiefs is losing in your conference championship game.
Right.
In the Mahomes era. This would be literally a catastrophe.
Yeah.
You're predicting a catastrophe.
I
think it's insane.
That's fair. And it is a little
understand.
crazy. It's just I am not I don't like what the Chiefs. I don't like the offensive line, and like I said, it bothers me when a team goes 12-0 in one possession games. I don't think I don't think that they can do that again. I expect them to go closer to 500 in one possession game.
But they're a good team, so realistically, they probably will go above 500 above 500 in one possession game.
They started 4 left tackles last season and were 15-1 in the regular season with Mahomes. 15-1.
The offensive line recently can't be worse than last year. I mean, I say it could get worse.
It definitely could be because you've got a rookie starting at left tackle and you bring back the guy
who they're very high on, and they bring in they
could start 3 left tackles
from 49ers.
That would say they probably could go undefeated with 3 left tackles. That's what that stat would say. I think it's crazy. And
I feel like you'd be better off predicting a Mahomes injury as the reason for this to happen than like anything else.
Yes, Mahomes injury.
Yes.
Which I'll go ahead and say he is due for that. Brady had one, an ACL tear. Mahomes has never been hurt.
Manning had back injuries.
He is due for that. Rodgers was his collarbone issues. Yep. Mahomes is due. I'm sorry, Mahomes, if you're watching.
Stafford had neck problems?
Yes, Stafford got ate alive in Detroit. But if you're making that claim, I'd rather you almost make that claim. And then I'd also almost rather you say the Denver Broncos are going 15-2 and the Chiefs are 14-3.
And the Chiefs beat the Broncos twice.
Sure, even that. Like, I just don't see 10-7. There's just no way.
Okay. See, I also one of the differences we have in their schedules is I think I have them losing all of those games like to the Eagles and the Bills and the Ravens, whereas you have them winning 2 of them.
Well, they get 3 of their 4 hardest games
at home.
But
I'm also like, I kind of think
unless I'm missing a game in there.
You
but when I look
losing
earlier,
at home 3 times, I can't recall the last time that happened.
I cannot either. I've got them losing.
I think they might have lost twice at home in the year they were 9-7.
I've got them losing to the Eagles and Ravens at home. I've got them losing to the Lions at home, on the road at Buffalo, on the road at Dallas, and then I've got them losing to.
They were 11-6. They weren't even 9-7. Holy revisionist history in my own head.
What year?
The year they were 11-6, and then went on to win the Super Bowl, which was 2 years ago.
Well,
I mean, Patrick Mahomes just gets it
they
done.
They lost 3 times at home.
There it is.
Four times at home. That's the last time it's happened.
And I've got them losing.
And they won the Super Bowl that year, and the division.
I had them losing 3 times at home. So, I also think it's 3 of their. Yeah.
Can you are they just straight up? Are you saying they're straight up worse?
Yes, I think
all of those teams.
I think the Eagles, Ravens.
You wouldn't even say those are fluke games. Those are just.
I think the
worse.
Eagles, Ravens, and Lions are all better than the Chiefs.
Are the Chargers better than the Chiefs?
No, but that's
you have them at the same record.
Yeah, yes, I have that as a fluke game. I have that and the Cowboys as the fluke game.
You think?
And those
the
are both.
Chargers are winning.
I also, if you look, I have the Eagles, the Ravens, the Lions all winning in Kansas City as better teams. And then every other loss is on the road. So Chargers.
Sure.
Chargers.
Dallas.
Bills, Denver, and Dallas.
Not Las Vegas.
No, I do not have them losing to Las Vegas.
You should change that.
No, I'm not changing that.
That's a good pick, Jack.
Sure. Thank you.
That's crazy.
Well, in my mind, it was like,
division.
We're going to have a Gardner Minshew game.
Exactly.
Reunion game in Las Vegas was exactly my thoughts.
That would be
so.
sick.
I just there's just like a lack of trust in what Mahomes has done year in and year out.
There is a lack of trust in the O-line, and there is a trust in the fact that teams cannot go 12-0, or even they are going to go 7-5 in one possession game.
But Mahomes has overcome roster deficiencies year in, year out and find ways to win. And so there's no trust in him to just keep doing it, as he has shown us that he's just going to keep
He's
doing
literally done it in every scenario. He's had excellent offense, terrible defense.
Yeah.
Won a Super Bowl. Great defense, terrible offense. Won a Super Bowl. Hey, great defense, subpar offense. I'm literally hurt and limping across the field. MVP, Super Bowl. It's diabolical. And if offensive line, you want to point that out. That's why the left tackle one is so important to me. They started 4 left tackles last year.
Right.
And I almost wish you had rolled through their PFF grades on all 4 left tackles, and they were still 17-3. The rest of the teams in the NFL combined were 17-51. It's crazy. I don't understand doubting Mahomes. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I love the Vikings bring up. I love that.
Yeah.
If Jared Goff was the starting quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. But it's Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
I think that's a valid point potentially. But
Because
it's not.
I think that is a semi-valid point because of that it was a good roster and they returned it all and it just that it didn't swing their way.
Sure.
And that is and like Patrick Mahomes didn't block the kick. He didn't block the field goal. That was a fluke. That was a weird thing that happened.
They've got there and blocked the kick. I mean, you make your own luck in football in a lot of ways. Like,
yeah, the whole team does. Patrick Mahomes can't control everything. Patrick Mahomes didn't block the kick. So what happens if the guy doesn't block the kick? All right, there's a loss. All right, what happens if another fluke thing, another dude just
so look
pops
at it
off
this
and
way.
goes insane?
I don't think either me or JP expect them to go 12-0 in one-score games again. But they could go 8-4. There's a big regression there. Boom. They could still easily go. They could lose 4 one-score games and still hit my 13-4 pretty easily.
Or they could lose 4 one-score games and then get blown out at the Bills and then lose to the Ravens.
They
at home
don't
by
get
double.
blown out. I think I don't know the stat on that, but I don't think Mahomes has lost
Aside from the Super Bowl this past year.
aside from the Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regular season.
I don't think he's lost by more than 10 points ever, and I'd love to fact check that myself.
Can y'all keep talking? Because
Yeah,
that
please.
would be crazy.
Maybe once ever. Then that's 1 out of 60 games.
I will say I have seen Patrick Mahomes lose a one-score game in person. Thursday
one?
Night Football against the Chargers, 28-27.
Okay, he started in 2019.
Correct.
Kansas.
All right, what do we said double digit or one possession?
He has not lost by double-digit points.
All right.
You said more than 10, right?
Yeah, 10 or more.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about good additions from them. I think in the draft they made some good additions. I think Josh Simmons will play fine, and I'm curious to see how that goes. I don't think he's yet to be proven to be the franchise left tackle that.
That's a tough loss for them there.
Yeah, it's 2 tough losses. To the Bills and then at Tennessee.
The people think, and Norman Lott fills a huge need. They lost 2 defensive tackles and Derek Nottie and Tershawn Wharton to free agency. And then I'm really high on Jalen Royals, the wide receiver out of Utah State. I think he's got a chance to be the 3rd best receiver in the room. Because I'm not sure on Hollywood Brown.
3 losses. 3 losses by double digits. Which
what,
I'm not gonna.
60
yeah, I'm not
starts?
gonna say that you're like wrong because that's still insane. But he has lost by double digits, and it was to the Bills and the Denver Broncos,
He is.
and then the Tennessee Titans. That might have been the game. Didn't he pop his knee out in a game?
He's 89-23
I kinda-
in his
yeah.
career.
What game
in the
do you
regular
remember?
season.
What year he popped his knee out, and then came back next week or like 2 weeks later?
I don't remember what year, but
Okay.
Kind of feels hard to believe
And
he would have put up 3 points.
if you're
in
talking about the
game.
one on the QB sneak,
Yeah.
they won that game 30-6 against the Denver.
Well, then it wasn't
against
then he
the
just
Denver Broncos.
dropped an absolute
I might add.
He put up
or
3 points against
the
the
Tennessee Titans. They lost
Yeah.
27-3 to the
He's-
Titans. I don't know what happened there.
Not even 60 games. Literally almost double that. In 12 games, he's lost 3 times by double-digit points. He's lost 23 times ever. So to lose 7 more times.
Yeah, I've got him losing like over a quarter of those games.
It's just, oh my gosh.
We got to get a move on because
Yeah,
we
you wanna-
sit here and
have anything
rehash
else you want to
this
say?
over and over
This
again.
has to be bet on with the Broncos. Like, I think maybe there's a second bet also that Kansas City doesn't win the division. Like, we give you
I think, but I feel like that's already in the Broncos. Like, because if the Broncos, I'm not going to double
Chargers.
bet. No, I'm not.
You
betting,
have your team.
I'm
Your
not betting on
Chargers
the
could steal
to
the
win it.
division.
I'm not betting on the
that
Chargers
gives
to win it.
it's more favored to you, actually.
No, I feel
Taking
better
the
about the
field.
Broncos to win it than I do the Chargers.
I
So
still think taking the field would be terrible odds as well.
even with
All-
even
even
with
though-
your Las Vegas Raiders out there
Well,
on
no,
the hunt,
No, I'm not.
on the prowl.
Even with Mahomes being on ACL watch,
Oh, okay.
I think that's crazy.
I think one
Uh,
bet is enough because
will
it's the
say-
same bet.
Schedule-wise, we'll go back to me and Jack now, being high
yeah.
on Kansas
Good call.
City at 12-5 and 13-4. Jack, how do you feel about Chris Collinsworth and Patrick Mahomes?
Is there like a
Now
stat
here's
here?
a guy.
Oh, he's the guy that
gla-
just like
The glazing?
yeah, I know, yeah.
We're going to see that 3 times this season.
Ooh,
in
exciting.
In New York against the Giants.
I can't even really be too mad at him. Like I do want to be mad, but like how
I'm
can
not
you
mad at him. I think it's funny.
how can you like hate he's just not wrong.
He's not necessarily wrong. No, not at all. That's kind of my thing on it. He does glaze him, but It's Mahomes. He deserves to be glazed. Okay, clip that if you would like. They'll also be on Monday Night Football twice. They'll play on 2 holidays and play in Brazil. And I think that would have been a better take at why they're not winning the division is all of these crazy schedule games. But they had the same thing last year where they literally played 3 games in 10 days, and they were 15-1 with Mahomes as the starting quarterback in the regular season. So that's not even a valid take itself. But they will play on Christmas and Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving one I'm really excited for. I've kind of been hoping for that for kind of years, to see Mahomes play Dallas on Thanksgiving. Like that's going to be sick. That's just going to be a sick game. Hopefully Dak's healthy for that, because that's must-see TV.
Well, hopefully Dak and Mahomes are healthy for that.
Also
for
true.
you.
Let me predict when Mahomes tears his ACL. I don't think it's going to be on prime time. So I'm going to predict Week 7 against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Can we just, I want to clarify again.
Max Crosby.
We only say this because Patrick Mahomes is, in theory, he is not suffering an injury like so many other great quarterbacks have.
JP will not be celebrating this injury.
Oh, no, not at all.
None of us are celebrating this. None of us want this. It's just...
I will find this clip.
Yeah, and then repost
me
it.
saying this and repost it.
It's just a reality that we're kind of expecting that in
You
the physical
play
game of
football
football,
long enough.
in the physical game of football, you are going to get hurt. And Patrick Mahomes has now played for 6 years as a starter without, and then all of college. Did he get hurt in college ever?
I don't remember.
Not to put it on Josh Allen, which huge knock on wood for this one, but not the Mahomes one. I'm not knocking on wood for that one. Josh Allen also hasn't suffered an injury that has knocked him out for a season.
Has Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson has.
What did he do?
Oh, he's had numerous injuries. Tyler Huntley played in the playoffs for him.
That's right. Yeah. I remember that.
He had a poop or something.
That was not the
Robert Griffin
out.
III
Downgraded to out. Poop.
played a starting
Questionable.
game for the Ravens on a Tuesday in the COVID season.
What did you say? Who played on a Tuesday?
Robert Griffin III.
Yes,
Shout out
RG3. Yeah,
I saw a clip of Colin Cowherd saying he was going to be better than Aaron Rodgers.
What was Lamar? I don't
last
remember
night.
what Lamar Jackson's. I don't remember.
That tracks.
Probably poop. Yeah.
I mean, he had Ben Simmons being the next face of the NBA. So
Gosh, that is insane. Kansas City at 10-7 and not winning the division. You are.
is that more insane, or is his Raiders prediction more insane to you?
That the Chiefs one has to be more insane.
Chiefs is
Yeah,
way
yeah,
more.
I
insane.
know.
Yeah.
I-
As high as JP is on the Raiders.
You're lucky though that they're not worse than the Chargers. Like picking the Chiefs third in division, then we've got to find.
Yeah, I'm
really
not
serious.
crazy.
We
I-
would
come on,
we'd back
give me
the
some-
camera up, and y'all could fight in front of the stadium.
I don't
Or
know
not
what
the
I'd say
stadium,
if you
the
had
podium.
a third, but still, Chiefs is a 6 seed.
I should have done that. Like, I should have
Diabolical.
not done it for real, but just put it in the spreadsheet for you to see and then gone back and changed it after you had your little heart attack.
Can you pull up the Chiefs, who's won the division since 2016, as a final cap?
Yeah, I'll throw it up there as the last little, for you.
So
For you.
Kansas City is.
if I can
he's-
find it. Maybe.
I just
don't
want to
know.
double check who won the division in 2017.
Bro, there we go. 2017, Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. We can move on to the Raiders now.
We
Sounds
want to
good.
give our what's our real quick our group prediction for the Chiefs. What is?
Oh yeah, our group prediction as a group, even though Sanders is historically low on them,
I'm trying
still
to
has
them.
the Chiefs tied with the same record as the Chargers at 11-6, but they win the tiebreaker and win the division.
Good work from us, JP, boosting that.
And they are the number 4 seed, which is actually kind of diabolical.
Where do you have them?
They're the 3 seed, right behind Buffalo and Baltimore,
Baltimore?
but
Yeah.
only a game behind Baltimore and 2 behind Buffalo. And they lost the tiebreaker. I'm pretty sure I have them losing both of those games.
Tough.
I do. I have them losing both of those games, so they would have lost the tiebreaker even if they were tied. But that'll move on to the Raiders. But what were you going to say?
No, you say it first, and I just have a question / a clarifying for how we're going to do this.
I would like to have a debate on Justin Herbert and
Now?
Geno Smith.
That's what I was going to
before
ask.
Okay.
We do the Raiders and the Chargers.
And then have it
this
be a separate
clipped as
video.
a YouTube video.
I also think that when we do this, this is all of our argument. So when we get into the teams, you can obviously, like, we're gonna have to talk about the quarterbacks. You can make your points,
Yeah.
but like we don't have any need to like just start
it.
rehashing it. We can just we
Absolutely.
can move forward.
I understand.
Is what
That's
I
fair.
like.
That's fair.
Let's just keep it concise, and make our points, have our argument,
Man, for all the talk about everybody tuning in to see the show, like all the boys and yapping, a little sad they're not here. Not
I
gonna
mean,
lie.
no one really committed.
No, that's fair. Y'all are missing. I mean, this has already been an electric hour and 15 minutes, and we're not even halfway through.
Do we need to do a coin toss for who goes first here?
I figured to let you go first. Well, I'll figure I'll let you decide because I don't exactly know where Sanders stands, but I know for sure he stands a lot closer with me. Like we're pretty aligned and
Sure.
you're
Yeah.
pretty separate. So would you rather
Yeah.
Would you rather
have the
field, or
rebuttal,
would you rather
kick it off?
I'd rather make my case.
Yeah, I think that's best as well.
I do.
Because I feel like
agree.
most of my arguments are counter arguments based on JP's points.
I
Because we've
do
also already seen your stuff.
Yeah.
want to make a clarification, or at least ask.
Should I make a Justin Herbert graphic real quick to like, I don't know. Never.
No,
we're
because I'm
good.
about to
Yeah, you
throw
go.
you 2,000 graphics.
Yeah,
This is true. This is true.
you're gonna have
of
like
head-to-heads and stuff.
it's gonna be like I don't know what it's called when it's like burned into your
Retinas?
computer. Yeah.
Oh, in my computer.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it'll be burned into the LEDs of your computer. You'll just have like a permanent little Justin Herbert and Geno Smith head here and here
that would
on
be
your
actually
computer.
funny.
That's my
You're-
lock
you're-
screen.
you're-
Justin, I mean, that's my guy. That's the quarterback of my team.
You're gonna be playing R6 and you're gonna like see Justin Herbert out of the corner of your eye and like try and swing on him.
And he just keeps.
Yeah,
staying
I can't get him.
That'd be funny.
Justin Herbert too elusive.
So Sanders, you have Justin Herbert as the 5th best quarterback in the AFC.
Yes, I think that's where I had him in my tier ranking.
Is he the 5th best quarterback in the NFL?
No.
Who's 5th?
Well, I mean, I would probably.
Out of
I'd have to look at my-
Jade and Jalen would be the two that would be at the top.
Yeah, they'd be up there.
What about? Oh,
They?
no.
I don't remember my
gonna have
tier
them there.
rankings.
Those would be the only two you.
Right,
I'd
but they might
expect
not.
you to
They
make an
might not be
argument to be
fifth though.
higher.
They might be first or second, and so the guy ahead of Herbert would be fifth. Is what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Who is it? Okay, let me just ask you now. Jalen and Jaden, do you have either of those ahead of Herbert?
I think I'd have both of them. I think Herbert is the seventh best quarterback in the NFL.
In the NFL. Okay, that's a huge clarifier. But you also kind of view him as how far is the step behind
Is Geno Smith?
him, Josh, Lamar, Joe, Patrick? How far is that step behind that? Because you have Herbert A tier and you have them S tier. How far is that step?
It's pretty I mean, it's a pretty significant step, right? I mean,
Is there any way Herbert plays into that step this season?
yes, there's a way. Oh, you'd be
A
crazy to say that there's not
realistic-
a way. A realistic way, no, not with the weapons he has available to
Okay,
him this year.
that's
Correct.
more of a question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
throw
is-
for 60 touchdowns.
Well,
Yes.
no, he could
If
even
he throws
throw-
60
he could-
touchdowns, he's in the top tier. I'm afraid.
He could put up Peyton Manning 50 touchdowns and 5K yards, and I'd be like, wow, like that's probably
Well, he
probably
did that last year and it didn't matter.
he didn't hit 50 touchdowns.
And we had the low interception number. And
Yeah,
the
he did have
still had
single
good
digit.
touchdown numbers. Jack,
Yeah.
where do you have Herbert in the AFC?
In the AFC, no, of course, now I'm trying to run through, but
You didn't do your QB tier rankings.
I didn't
You
do
were on
my
the
QB tier
honeymoon,
ranks.
yeah.
But
Where would he be in the NFL?
NFL, I would roughly say between 7 and 10.
Okay.
He's
No way he's outside of top 10.
he's give me like 10 seconds. I'll just run through it real quick.
Sure.
He's outside. Obviously, you have the big three.
Lamar, Josh, Patrick, Joe.
Yes, I don't know if I put Joe with them. I
Well,
think I put
okay.
Joe slightly below.
Okay, that's fair.
But he's not with those four in the AFC.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you've got Jaden and Jalen.
Yes, and I really don't like.
I don't think there's anyone in the NFC.
Huh?
There's no one else in the NFC ahead of him.
He could have
Jordan Love. I think there's a question
Okay.
for Jordan
All
Love.
right.
Jordan Love ahead of him.
We've yet to see anything from Jordan Love.
Stafford,
Stafford is right there as well.
is he ahead of him?
Don't leave me over here,
Just
Jack.
Stafford versus Herbert. Who's better?
Right now, Stafford projection how I expect next season to go. I expect Herbert to have a better season
Okay,
than
who's
Stafford.
better, Baker or Herbert?
I would rather Herbert.
Okay. Who's better, Geno Smith or Herbert?
Herbert.
Okay.
Every single day.
Imagine if it's like Geno Smith, and all of a sudden this thing is completely
And
flipped
now
on
I'm
its
by
head.
myself
Yeah.
again.
I'll just like move my
Let's-
chair over here.
I'd like to start with the first one, the last two seasons, and I think the last two seasons is a fine talking point because when we actually get into the Chargers, I'm going to look further into the past to make positive statements.
You don't
about
want to talk
Justin Herbert.
2021 when Justin Herbert was putting up 5K yards and Geno Smith threw for
Yeah,
33.
because that was 4 years ago. And Geno also wasn't a starting quarterback that year, so it's not a fair take.
Well, unlucky for Geno.
Yeah,
Been
that's
better,
kind of
I guess.
probably should have been
Let's
better.
compare. Oh yeah, and Herbert has how many playoff wins?
The last 2 seasons.
Yeah,
The last
last
two
two
seasons,
seasons.
which I think is a fine sample size. Geno, more passing yards, better record, better completion percentage, and the big thing for me is game-winning drives. Geno, 9 of them in these last 2 seasons. Herbert with only 3, and I think that's a huge thing. Geno, throw up the Geno Smith last 2 seasons graphic.
Got it up.
In the last 2 seasons, all of those numbers still there. He's been sacked the 3rd most in the NFL, behind C.J. Stroud and another quarterback as well. And this is where he ranks in the NFL, and this is where he would rank among AFC quarterbacks as well. He's top 10 in everything. He's top 5 in game-winning drives and also times sacked, which, given the amount of times he's sacked, to still be this high in other stats is
Impressive.
a testament to his ability. The AFC rank is what jumps off the page for me. He is above Josh Allen or Lamar or Joe in some of these. He's above Josh, Lamar, Burrow in all 3 of the game-winning drives. He's 3 behind Patrick Mahomes. That is the only difference. The next closest in terms of game-winning drives is Jared Goff, who has 8, and then Jalen Hurts, who also has 8. Geno has 9, and for me, that's a huge thing on Geno, is clutch, his ability to lead the team when the team has not been that great. Offensive line has been putrid. While the weapons are there, sure, defense isn't necessarily there. We had a first-year head coach, and we were still pretty good last year. Now I want to compare head-to-head, and let's do head-to-head, if you don't mind, when they played each other. Now, this was 3 years ago, but this is a point to Geno Smith. It has to be a point in the argument to Geno Smith, because when they played head-to-head, Geno Smith won. While he had less passing yards and the same amount of touchdowns to interception, they also had a fumble each loss in that game. Throws it a lot less, sure, but he won by 14 points in Justin Herbert's house. That has to mean something. Now, career accolades I want to look at as well. Geno Smith, 2 Pro Bowls to Justin Herbert's 1. Herbert's been in the postseason twice. Geno's been there once. Playoff record, obviously, neither of them have a win. Awards, they both have 1. Geno has won Comeback Player of the Year, and Justin Herbert won Offensive Rookie of the Year his first season in the league. And then tough quotes. Huge aura factor to Geno Smith, and I don't think you can disagree with that.
I would argue Justin
Sanders
Herbert
certainly can't.
has aura in and of himself, just in a different way.
Facts.
He's got like the
Michael Pittman.
He's got like the shy guy aura.
Maybe. He also looks like Duncan, which I think is kind of funny. But I do want to go to the playoff games, and this is the big knock on Herbert for me, and that is in his 2 playoff games, he has been downright bad and not good enough, choking a 27-point lead to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then in 2024, last year, 14 for 32, and he threw for more interceptions than he had thrown the entire season, and that is outright. You cannot do that.
Sure.
Cannot do that. And if we are going to put, and much of the media is going to put, Justin Herbert as the 5th best quarterback in the AFC, he has to be held to the same standard as those above him.
I mean, I would
top 5 class.
I would disagree if they're putting him in a lower tier.
They're right below them. And I understand that.
It's
but
not a good look. I'm just saying.
I'm
not saying he's a Patrick Mahomes or a Lamar Jackson.
I think it is. This is Herbert's now 6th, 7th season in the NFL.
I think it's his 7th. I think he's
5th. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. He's going into his 6th.
This is going into his 6th season in the NFL. And the main take on Justin Herbert is talent, eye test, potential. Yes?
stats, yardage, like success, like
The
statistical
stats don't show
output.
up in the playoffs.
Since he's 2 games, smaller sample size compared to what he's done the regular
Whose fault
season.
is that?
It's his, but I'm just saying that some of the stats, if you look at stats since he joined the league, he's up there with some of the best. I'm not saying he's with the best, but he has been.
Justin Herbert last 2 seasons, if you don't mind.
That's not what I said. I said since he's joined. which when he joined the league, he had good weapons, and you saw what he could do. The past couple years, his weapons have been very lacking.
Agreed.
Which a point I want to make is I don't think prior to how I viewed him his first couple years and what I thought he could be, I no longer view him as this elite QB like a Mahomes that can overcome tough circumstances and will his team to wins no matter what. But he's still good enough that with a couple weapons, he can be very productive and lead his team to a lot of wins.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of, it's not the opposite of Patrick Mahomes, but when he came in, he had terrible defense, good weapons, and found success and won 9,
Feasted,
10
put up
games.
so many yards.
Yeah, put up a bunch of yards. And then, but he didn't do the Patrick Mahomes where it's, oh, I've got a good offense and bad defense, I'm going to go win a Super Bowl. He's not Patrick Mahomes, and he's not up there. That's why he's in the tier below.
I don't even put him there. He's nowhere close to him.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying there's no way he's even top
Right.
5 in the AFC if you look at his numbers in the last 2
I just
seasons.
think it's not fair to compare him to Geno Smith.
Was very
when
beat
Geno
up
Smith
in 2023, missed some games,
Yeah.
and also played through injuries as well. And
Sure.
then this past year, no weapons. They're still trying to figure out the kinks with this new offense, which is also going to be run heavy.
And
I don't
he still
expect
threw 4 picks all season long.
3.
3 picks.
He threw 3 picks
He
all
threw
season.
4 in a playoff game, which is pretty
Pretty tough.
remarkable.
But he
Really-
for a
that's
pretty
tough.
remarkable to only throw 3 in a season as well.
Yeah.
Especially
And-
when wide receiver 2 is Quinton Johnson,
Yeah.
who I know you like, actually.
And I just don't get why
But-
you're going to say that Geno Smith is a such much better quarterback than him when he's also been throwing to Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and now Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like,
Because-
that's just a very different situation than Herbert has found himself in.
Sure. But the rank is the big thing on here for me. You saw Geno's ranks. Those were top 10
Right, but the
everything.
ranks are in part due to the weapons he had available to him.
But it's a huge
Because how many
discrepancy in
how
the
many
rank.
yardage, how
You
many
can't-
yards
It's a
worth of drops do you think Quentin Johnson has accounted for? A couple hundred?
Sure, maybe 300. He's still 600 yards behind. He's still not even. He might creep into the top 10 in passing yards the last 2 seasons. He's 13th in passing yards the past 2 seasons. Yet he's viewed as the 5th best quarterback in the AFC. He's 8th best in passing yards the past 2 seasons in the AFC.
He also missed some games last season. So
He's
missed-
missed.
he missed 4 or 5 last season.
Sure. Still, he's played 30 games. That's a large enough sample
Sure.
size, and other quarterbacks have missed time as well.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow has missed time.
Correct.
A ton of time.
I'm not saying he's
Hey,
Joe Burrow.
neither of us are saying he's Joe Burrow.
16 and 14. That's 13th in the NFL over the past 2 seasons. Completion percentage is 18th over the past 2 years. Not clutch. 3 game-winning drives in the past 2 years, and I get it. I'm going to bring up a stat that you would bring up right now,
I would love to bring it up. I would love to bring it up because you
but it doesn't apply anymore because that was a ton of time ago.
what was a ton of time
It
ago?
was 3 years ago. That's a lot. You can't. My biggest argument here.
We're not talking about the same thing.
My biggest argument here is you can't continue to say, oh, Herbert, because of eye test, talent, potential. He's going into his 6th season. He has to do something on the field to show that. And right now in the NFL,
And when he has a good offense around him, he has shown that he can do that.
showing that, he still didn't win a damn playoff game. He was in the postseason
Because the
once.
defense sucked, and he
It's
did not play well in the game either. The game when the defense was bad, and this
And
past
that's my
season was
argument
rough.
here. And yet he's still viewed as if
My-
those things didn't happen. It's not a large enough sample size when
Yes.
it's been 5 seasons.
I'm
That's
just saying that
more than enough
2
of a large
playoff
sample
games
size.
is not a very big sample size in my opinion.
And given the price that he's been being paid as well, like the sample size is there. He's played 5 seasons,
I'll also
and he
say,
has nothing to show for it besides numbers and talent and potential. When is it going to show?
what stat
It
are you talking
has
about from
shown.
3 years ago? Because I'm not talking about a
Game-winning
stat.
drives, he had 5.
I'm talking. I want to pull up the
Over
stats.
the course of
I want to pull up
2022
the
and
stats about the
2021
times that he drove down and took the lead, and then his defense just couldn't stop any. They couldn't stop air.
We're going
His
to show
defense
a
can't.
15-point game.
He took the lead with 2 minutes left. Took the lead with under 2 minutes left against the Chiefs. He took the lead with under 2 minutes left, 34-36. His defense lets the Dolphins walk down and kick a 0-second field goal in a minute and a half. How is that just? You want him to play defense? You want him to go Travis Hunter mode?
He could make a good linebacker.
I
Probably.
bet he'd be a top 10. No, I'm not kidding. I'm kidding. I just don't get the Justin Herbert has been a good quarterback. He's led this team. He's put them in the position for success. and then his team just chokes it away, and Justin Herbert can't play both sides of the ball. That is not wins and losses are not an entirely QB related metric. All right, they are majority QB, but if you look at the stats, Justin Herbert has done a lot with very little available to him. You talk about catch rate being 60-something%. How many drops did Quentin Johnston has he had in the past 2 years? Too many to be a wide receiver too. I mean, it's bad. He's single-handedly lowering Justin Herbert's drop rate. And then his other best weapon is a slot wide receiver.
Who's Ladd McConkey? You are
Ladd
very
McConkey was good last year as a rookie and is hopefully better this year. But for your wide receiver one to be a slot wide receiver, and then we're comparing him to a guy who's got a 6'6", 240-pound guy at wide receiver out wide, and then you've got another guy, Tyler Lockett, who at his, for his age was a very good wide receiver, and then one of the best young slot wide receivers in Jackson Smith-Njigba, a first-round pick who panned out, unlike
and an awful
Quentin Johnston.
Line. He hasn't had a franchise left tackle. Cross was very young.
Charles Cross played like one his rookie year, and he thought he would develop into one. He is not yet.
And he's been sacked. He was sacked 50 times last season.
How many times was Herbert sacked?
Nearly about the same. And then he was...
Okay, cool.
Well, Herbert across those 2 years was sacked 70 times, an 11 difference, but a fifth rank
to Geno's
difference.
how many?
I get
how many times?
81.
Okay.
That's a large enough difference. It's also 5 difference in rank, which is where the rank thing is big to me as well. Is if you're telling me the numbers are so good, but they aren't.
Because he's had a bad offense. What are the weapons that he's been surrounded
Right. Okay.
with?
Look at Geno's best 2 years.
I said since
look at
joining
Geno's
NFL,
best
the
2
numbers
years.
have been
Look
good.
at Geno's best 2 years versus Herbert's best 2 years. Would you say that's a fair comparison? Right. Herbert when he has the weapons to throw to versus Geno when he has the weapons to throw to. Herbert has 10,000 yards in 2 years. How many did Geno throw?
And just as many playoff wins to show for it.
He threw. All right.
I think the biggest thing in my argument is I think you're just putting too much disrespect and too much of a gap between these two guys that, in my eyes, are on the same page with Geno just a slight ahead.
But how many playoff wins does Geno have?
0.
All right. Cool. So what gives him the edge?
Playoff game
What gives him the edge?
was a road game against the 49ers who went to the Super Bowl.
Where did Herbert play? Were they playing home
Chargers
road games? Were they playing home playoff games?
Played 4 seed Jacksonville Jaguars.
On the road?
4 seed Houston Texans.
On the road.
Who both.
The Houston Texans were
tore
one of
him
the
apart
hottest
in the
teams
second half.
in the NFL at that point.
They were a 4 seed, Sanders. They were 10-7.
With an elite defense going up against a wet paper towel offense that Justin Herbert has to lead.
And
he has to be better. He can't throw. He can't throw 4 picks.
Right.
But what the fuck is he supposed to do in that game?
All right, we'll edit that one out.
Not throw 4 picks.
And lose.
If his numbers were so good and the interceptions were so low.
When he has good weapons, the
yeah.
numbers are elite. They are among the best in the NFL. He's not
I
had
don't
those weapons
disagree
the
with
past
that.
couple years.
But that was over 2 seasons ago, and it's just the sample size is.
And he's still putting up 4,000 passing yards with bad weapons.
You're running a straw man argument, acting like we're comparing him to the greats of the league. We're not.
You have him top 5 in the AFC, and I think that matters a ton.
A step below the guys.
Everybody else. We have him above the Geno Smiths and the freaking
Geno Smith
Anthony
is just
Richardson.
as good of him, if not better.
That's why he has less passing yards in their 2 best seasons because he's better.
He doesn't have less passing yards the past 2 seasons.
All right, I think we're just going.
On
I
a
think we're
2-game
going.
difference, 1,000-yard difference. So Herbert's got to throw 500
900.
yards.
900.
944 to what? Yeah.
Weapon discrepancy is massive.
Yeah, I think we're going pretty cyclical. I don't think we're going to agree.
It's just, I think you're just disrespecting Geno Smith.
All
I
right.
think Geno Smith is a
Straight
good
up.
quarterback. I think you're disrespecting Justin Herbert.
You're overvaluing Justin Herbert.
Okay, well, we'll
We
see.
Because
disagree.
He has proven nothing.
All right,
Proven absolutely nothing.
I think we can.
I would disagree,
His
but
numbers are comparable to Derek Carr the past 2 seasons.
correct. That's not with no weapons. We will
Oh,
see
right.
as weapons get in the building with the Chargers and Justin Herbert. The time is now for him. He has to prove himself.
Yeah.
It won't happen this season. I'm sorry.
Well,
All
yeah,
right.
because
The
has he
sample
got
size is
weapons?
there. I think so. I think he's got fine weapons, and Ladd McConkey and Omarion Hampton should be very good this
Marion
year.
Hampton should
And
be.
who's
also
his
a
other wide
rookie.
receiver? Who else is he throwing to?
Whose fault is that? He's also got a.
That's
he's also got a.
That's crazy.
He's
also
got to
got
make
a
the
big
draft
silence.
picks and the free agent.
The silence.
got a
Yeah,
big
Justin Herbert's
time-
got to manage the team.
He's also got a big time left tackle
Sure.
and Joe Alt, and
That's
a big
awesome.
time right tackle.
You know,
and Rashawn
offensive
Slater.
linemen are not allowed to go out and catch passes. That's a penalty.
Well, offensive lineman lost Mahomes 2 Super Bowls.
Sure.
True.
So yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We
Cool.
disagree. That
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
Put
Let
up
me-
my graphic,
All
if you
right.
don't mind.
Las Vegas Raiders. Take it away, JP.
The Raiders had a massive offseason with an essentially full house clean of a 4-13 football team. The first move was the hiring of soon-to-be 74, not 47, big difference there, year-old Pete Carroll. Carroll is under contract for 3 seasons and returns to football after a year away following the dismissal, which would be the way I would put it. There are many different ways for the way that was put, both on Pete's side and Seattle's side. From Seattle, he now is the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Geno Smith returns to Pete on a 2-year, $75 million extension that keeps him with Las Vegas through the 2027 season. Geno is at roughly $37 million a year for the next 3 seasons, keeping him well below the highest-paid quarterbacks in the league. Geno, in 2 years with Pete, led Seattle to the playoffs and had 2 9-8 seasons, barely missing the postseason. In his second year with Pete Carroll, the Raiders selected Ashton Jeanty with the 6th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, which was the highest since Saquon and Bijan Robinson. Jeanty finished second in last year's Heisman voting, which some people had him as first, and nearly touched Barry Sanders' rushing record. He'll be an instant plug-and-play for Las Vegas, and he looks to be a star this season. The last big move of the offseason came when Christian Wilkins was released during the first week of training camp.
How lucky we are we're doing the Raiders now and not 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Wilkins was refusing surgery, allegedly, and also dealt with a personal conflict in the locker room, allegedly, that involved him allegedly kissing another player on the head. Allegedly. I've heard far worse stories on that, actually. Wilkins is due $10 million this year and $30 million next year in dead cap money, kind of putting the Raiders in a tough spot next year. Geno has been, the past 2 seasons, top 10 in a lot of categories that matter towards a quarterback. Record, top 10 completion percentage, top 10 in passing yards, and second to only Patrick Mahomes in game-winning drives the past 2 seasons. He now joins a Raiders crew who made I can't even tell you how many different additions and subtractions they made this offseason. I'll start specifically with the offense. They bring in Ashton Jeanty, losing Amir Abdullah and Alexander Madison. They bring in Jack Beck, losing DJ Turner, also losing a tight end in Harrison Bryant. I'm really high on Jack Beck this season. And then other additions offensively, they added offensive guard Alex Kappa and Raheem Mostert, who I was flamed for, saying was a huge loss from Miami Dolphins, even though he was a Pro Bowler only 2 years ago. Now the offense, who some will say is actually a terrible offense, has Brock Bowers, who was absolutely insane last season, at 1,100 receiving yards, basically 1,200, 1,194, 112 catches and 5 touchdowns. Here's how he ranks all time, and as well as in the NFL last season. He was top 10 in receiving yards for a tight end in the NFL last season, 3rd in receptions, 19th in touchdowns. For tight ends, he was 1st in every category except touchdowns, where he was 3rd with only 5. And then as a rookie all-time, this is all-time rookie receiver, not even tight end, 11th all-time receiving yards, and he broke the single-season rookie reception record with 112. He was also, of course, number 1 all-time in all of those as a tight end. I think he's, from a fantasy football perspective, I hate that I'm throwing this out this early. I would draft him inside. I would draft him in the... He would be my first pick outside of that top 5. They're essentially a lock, which is the Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Saquon, Bijan, and Puka Nacua.
Sure.
Like, he is the 6th. I think he's the 6th pick.
Really?
He's that much valuable. I mean, look at his NFL ranks last season being top 10 in receiving yards and 3rd in receptions. In a PPR league, Brock Bowers is going to be insane considering the value that he is at tight end as well.
And lack of weapon.
Yeah, and he's the
elsewhere on
only
team.
weapon there, so he's going to get the ball so much.
He's not the only weapon.
Okay, but it's not like the other options are fantastic, elite.
I think
he's going to be
Ashton
the
Jeanty
primary focus.
is going to be a top 10 to top 5 running back in the league. Jacoby Myers is also being undersold here. Trey Tucker is not as great, but Jack Beck is the big one for me. I think Jack Beck is actually going to be really, really good this season. And the second receiver to Jacoby Myers, he may end up being second receiving yards. I think he's got that much potential. 6'1" out of TCU, has an incredible story as well. And he joins the Raiders. He'll instantly start, and I think he's going to be a great weapon for them. How do you guys view this offense, Geno Smith aside, or you can talk about Geno if you'd like? Is this offense good enough to play well? And I guess we'll go to Jack first, since Sanders has an insane take on the Raiders.
Play well. Well, one, it's like I don't exactly what does that mean. That may be a little stretch. I do think the offense
Can they be top half in the league?
They can be, yes. But more what I was going to say is I think the offense is good enough to be competitive in games. It's not
Sure.
like you're going to go into weekends and be like, oh, the other team scored 2 touchdowns. The Raiders are like, it's probably over, right?
Yeah.
I do think there's enough firepower with Brock Bowers, and I do expect Genty to have a very good season for a rookie. And Geno Smith has shown he can be very, very productive, albeit this is a new situation than kind of where he had his revival, so hopefully it continues over. I expect it to. But yeah, I expect this. At the very least, I expect this offense to be competitive week in and week out and find ways to put some points on the board.
Yeah, offensive coordinator is going to be Chip Kelly. Obviously one of the better offensive minds in the sport, so I expect this offense to just really hit the ground running and be... offense for me is the engine. I'll get into the defense later. I don't have a lot of faith in the defense, and I think offense is the engine that's going to have the Raiders win games, which puts a lot of pressure on my guy, Geno Smith.
True.
Sanders, you are...
I'm very low on the Raiders.
Historically low on the Oakland Raiders.
Yes.
In fact, I would like to see the last time they only won 2 games.
I have them going 2-15.
Did they
In
go
part
0-16
because
at
when
some
I was
point?
doing other teams, no, I think the Lions and Browns
Browns.
are the only teams to have gone 0-16. When I was doing when I was doing other teams' picks, every time the Raiders came up on the schedule, I was like, that is a win. I'm not high on the Raiders. I'm very low. I'm not 2-15 low, but also I didn't want to go back and change picks, so I gave them a win. They've got a win over the Giants, maybe, and it's not a lot of wins. I am low, I admit. I have them beating the Chargers and the Titans.
Insane.
You have them beating your team.
Yeah,
But
at
going-
home. Yeah.
That's fucking insane. I had to drop another one. Sorry.
You good.
Look. I just we're going to have to work on this whole fandom thing, I feel like.
Yeah.
But you're new.
I'm
so
being
excited to
being
hear.
a realist here. It's the fluke game. That's how the
So
Raiders
you never
get their
predict
second win.
you'd never predict the fluke game against your team.
No, dude.
That's insane.
Have you seen JP's Saints prediction?
Facts. He has a bunch of fluke games. The Saints are all on the delivering end of the fluke.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, I do not like the wide receiver weapons beyond Brock Bowers. I know Jacoby Myers was a 900-yard receiver last year. I do not think Geno Smith
with
has...
Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
I don't think Geno Smith has the ability to elevate weapons, and I don't like the weapons he has other than Brock Bowers. I didn't get a chance to look at offensive line play, but I'm not going to speak about something I don't know. But
I'll pick up while you look at it.
yeah,
if you want.
appreciate it.
I have to, looking at Jack Beck, I have to at least respect him and hope for greatness, partially because of his story. Like you mentioned, loss of his brother in the pre-draft process. Very sad. And also, he shares a name with me.
Yes.
So, that right there alone is enough to get me on board with the Jack Beck hype. I'll buy in.
Yeah,
Yeah, offensive line play, not good.
it wasn't terrible. It was about average. It was 12th or 13th in pass block and
Now-
Geno has wheeled and dealed behind
20th
a
in
poor
run
O-line.
block. True.
He has been historically a top 10 quarterback in the NFL the last 2 seasons with a terrible offensive line.
Fair.
And I think they've got Aura at right tackle. Their
Who's
right
that?
tackle is DJ Glaze.
That's pretty fire.
That is awesome.
Sick name. A
Is
22-year-old
he good?
playing in his second
he's
year.
okay. He's a young guy. Okay.
I don't know if he got to start or not.
Yeah,
last
can we
year.
see if
Yeah.
DJ Glaze has any?
How is
How do
DJ
you spell Glaze?
DJ Glaze
Z?
like a
Like a
donut,
yeah.
Yeah, it's
or
okay.
like-
The standard
like
way
Chris
to spell.
Collinsworth.
He wasn't awful. Finished with a 66.1 offensive grade, which is not terrible.
He was really good against your Chargers in weeks.
He was
Was
a
he a
tackle.
3rd or 4th round pick?
third-round pick.
Yeah, he's a third-round pick. They
Had
also
3 sacks. but not
have
terrible.
2 third-round picks as well. Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant, they're offensive linemen that could plug into these spots. Alex Kappa is going to start, though. Jackson Powers-Johnson is a no-doubt center start. Dylan Parham, I think, is where you could see a change. Colton Miller is technically their franchise left tackle, so I don't expect that to change. But I'm excited to see DJ Glaze. He also looks sick. If you look up, he's a cool-looking dude as well. So I'm excited to see how he plays this year. Offense, I think, is the complete engine of this team. Defense is where I'm concerned. The loss of Christian Wilkins matters.
Yeah, for sure.
While it could potentially help the locker room, I guess, it now makes Max Crosby the only pass rusher for sure, unless Tyree Wilson has a...
Is he the Texas Tech guy?
Texas Tech guy who was a top
Spent some time
pick.
at Texas A&M.
Unless he just shows something in his third season for whatever reason, a la Kyle Pitts, although Kyle Pitts never did that.
I'd say he has yet to do that.
I think,
His drills were getting memed on Twitter, which doesn't mean a ton, but
yeah.
as someone that doesn't know what a good football drill is supposed to look like, he did not necessarily wow me
Yeah.
with his explosive.
So you don't know what a good one looks like, but you know what a bad one looks like?
Well, I'm
Is
just
that what
like,
you're saying?
it's not great when I see someone do that, and I'm like, I think I could do that.
That's fair.
Which I know I could not. But like when it looks that way, when it's like that doesn't look that hard.
You think you should, in practice, you feel like you should be a lot more impressed
Yes,
with guys'
correct.
athleticism because that's where it should be on display.
I want to give them credit, though, specifically Tom Brady and the front office, Al Golden.
I forget Tom
Not
Brady's
Al
name. I
Golden.
was like,
I was
where are
just
you
saying.
going
Is
with
it Al
this?
Golden?
I can't. The GM,
Isn't Al Golden
The owner. Al Golden's the defensive coordinator
For the-
Bengals
yeah.
now.
Mark Davis.
I don't know why I said Al Golden.
Who is Al Golden?
I don't know.
the defensive coordinator of the Bengals?
Yeah, I don't
was
know
at
why I said
Notre
that.
Dame for a while. I
Mark
think.
Davis, though, they have done a great job in at least replacing what they lost. So they, like I said, offensively replaced that. Defensively, the same story. They lost 3 defensive backs in Marcus Epps, Nate Hobbs, and Trevon Moehrig, who were all starters for them. They replaced that with Eric Stokes, Lonnie Johnson Jr., and Jeremy Chin. And while none of those are splash moves, they were all also starters last season for their football teams. In the linebacker crew as well, they lose Kayvon Chason and Robert Spillane as well, and they replaced that with Jermaine Pratt, who was actually an incredible middle linebacker for Cincinnati's previous years, a Landon Roberts, who's got to be so old at this point, and then Devin White. And while those are not also great names, they are replacements of starters. So I don't think it's going to be a huge drop from a defense that wasn't great last year. I'm high on them. Jack you're still low on them at 6-11.
I mean, that puts them right below their over/under.
I think the big thing is I have faith in Geno Smith, but
Sure.
Yeah.
I have faith in Pete Carroll as well and creating a different kind of locker room and creating a winner. And they have no choice but to win in these 2 to 3 years because Pete's 74. He's only under contract for 3 years. So you can really only expect him to coach for 3 years, and I only expect him to coach for 2 as well.
Yeah.
Also, Geno has that contract for 3 years. And the quarterback play is just going to be substantially better. Last year, they were arguably the worst quarterback room in the NFL. And they were almost unarguably the worst running back room in the NFL. And they add Geno Smith, who is at least a top 13 quarterback, top half in the league. And they add Ashton Jeanty, who I expect to be a top 10 running back. And we've seen that from rookie running backs as well, their production even in their first year. And I think that's a huge part of offense. It's can you run the football? Is your quarterback good enough? So I think that helps them a ton. And not that Vegas knows ball, although historically you would say they do, considering the house always wins. The win total is 7.5 as well. So I think they're go either way. They could easily go 6-11, but
Yeah.
I expect them to be over that win total.
I
have bet that as well.
A couple things I would say to that. I approach the Pete Carroll hiring, I viewed a little bit differently. I view him as a guy brought in to change the culture and not necessarily like they have to win now. I view Pete Carroll as a steady hand at the tiller at a organization that's had a lot of head coaches over the past 10, 15 years. They've been through a lot of different guys, a lot of quarterbacks, and Derek Carr. They played Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell. I view it
Jarrett
more.
Stidham.
Jarrett Stidham, right? I view the Pete Carroll
That's
and
nasty.
Geno Smith thing, the Geno Smith and Pete Carroll combination, as let's just calm everything down. Like, yeah, they're not trying. Like, they are still trying to win, but it is not. I believe, were brought in more to change the culture of the locker room, and change the culture of the team.
Maybe. I just don't see, like, given that they are not longevity pieces, it doesn't.
That's why
I don't think it makes sense to bring in pieces to be just a bridge, specifically a coach and a quarterback to be a bridge for 3 years. That isn't, unless it is to be like Chip Kelly is hired up,
yeah,
and then they look and draft a quarterback.
Right.
Which I expect it's probably what's going to happen, but they have no reason to try and be bad. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm not saying they're trying to be bad. I just don't like. I think that they were brought in so that this round of rookies is playing under Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, right? Geno Smith, one of the more experienced quarterbacks in the league. I mean, and he's in his early 30s, 33 probably, somewhere.
Yeah,
around there.
early 30s.
So I mean, he's compared to guys like Mahomes and that, like he's an experienced quarterback, a mature guy. Bring him in, bring in Pete Carroll, who, while he was a very good coach, is also an experienced coach. And I don't know, I just feel like they are going to be able to help change that culture of Las Vegas from what has not been successful with the Derek Carr leaving and then the Devontae Adams drama, being hurt but not being hurt, and getting traded. So they were not brought in by any means to lose. Pete Carroll's too good a head coach, and Geno Smith is, in my opinion, an average quarterback, of 16 to 10 top 16 to top 10 quarterback. And so they were not brought in to lose by any means. At some point, I would love to talk about the emergency podcast situation because I think I would like to explain some stuff.
We'll wrap it up with that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like torn on who I agree with in this scenario. I don't really know why both can't be true, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
Pete Carroll can
Could be
this,
the right guy.
this steadying force, while also being the guy that helped them play winning football again.
Yeah.
Right. I think both can be true, and they can hope for both. That may be a little unrealistic,
No, I think that's fair.
but
Pete
they
Carroll,
can get there. I mean, Pete Carroll's been a successful head coach before.
Yeah.
In terms of him writing the culture, I want to take it back to the Christian Wilkins thing. Not necessarily the best start. Well, I guess potentially they're getting rid of a locker room cancer by getting rid of him. Though I am very curious as to what actually happened.
Yeah.
Because hard to believe a little kiss set everything off as it did.
Yeah.
I mean, as someone that played high school sports, I know it's not the NFL, but like things just get a little weird in the locker
They do.
room
Yeah.
or on the bus. Like
They do.
things happen, and I don't think a little kiss is that out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
So
Kiss the homies goodnight.
That's an insane, just to say that. But it is not necessarily false. I would say maybe a kiss is out of the ordinary, maybe. I don't know what locker rooms
I don't
you're
think
in,
you need to
but,
say anything else, Jack.
I
You
would
already-
not continue.
You've already said weird things happen. Things get weird in the locker room.
But it's not.
and what is weird,
it's
right?
not
Nothing like
nothing.
crazy.
And
Let's get back to football.
A
I
kiss
think
isn't crazy.
I think the biggest thing on it though was I don't think that might have been a factor, but I think it was the surgery thing.
Sure.
yeah.
And the fact that there was a decent chance that, like, well, one, if he got surgery, he probably would have missed much of the season. But if he didn't, he was going to be playing on a hurt foot. He wouldn't be as productive, and he was due a lot of money. But at the same time, you gave him the damn contract, so literally just pay him what you owe him.
Yeah.
Which I think is
Facts.
that's just a huge problem with the NFL right now. Anyways, they have so much power over these players that they're able to do things like cut them and really cut
Over a little disagreement.
cut a ton of their money
Yeah.
over something like that. But I think, yeah, that's a factor. I don't think it's going to hold anything on Pete, and I've heard Pete speak, and I think he's in a good spot. He looks old. He talks old. He didn't really have that same fire that he did in Seattle. So there's some concern there, but he has to be better than their previous quarterback, Pierce, and obviously way better than
Head coach, not
Josh
quarterback.
McDaniels. And as well, like, I would just push back. I don't think they're going 2-15. They haven't gone.
Yeah.
I think that is
They're low. They haven't gone two. They haven't won 2 or fewer games since 2006.
Yeah.
They also the last time they were at 3 wins was when the Devil himself, Dennis Allen, was the head coach of the
Sure.
Las Vegas, or that time the Oakland Raiders. So I just don't. I think that's way too low.
I also want to say, talking about him coming in and you view him as the guy to come be the steadying force and establish the
Yeah.
culture, which you never said he was going to be successful. But I think it's really hard to establish a culture when you go 2-15
That's fair.
because people love to win too much, and players losing that much are gonna get upset.
Pete
and
loves
gonna
to win
try
that
and
much.
Yeah.
yeah, like that's just a locker room can't be healthy going 2-15. It
Yeah.
just it simply can't.
So like I said, I don't know that 2-15 was in part because I had already done picks and I didn't want to change a bunch of stuff because I just didn't feel confident in any of those switches because like I said, I'm not high on the Raiders. If I did the Raiders first, if we did the AFC West first, I'm sure I would have had them winning 5, 6, 7 games. But I will say I do think Pete Carroll he came to bring a winning culture because I think that's something that the Raiders have just struggled even with talent the past couple of years.
They haven't had that since the Gruden days.
Yeah, and
It's
so
been
I mean they
brutal.
brought it like they've just been trying a lot of things and swinging and missing, right? They tried to bring Devontae Adams to pair with Derek Carr to bring back that college football magic. They tried they traded for Khalil Mack and that just didn't really ever, right? They traded for Khalil Mack, right?
No, they drafted Khalil Mack.
And then
but
traded him to the Bears. That's what it was. I had it back.
since John Gruden, 2002, where they lost in the divisional round, the year after they lost in the Super Bowl, but since, including that year they were in the Super Bowl, they've had 3 winning seasons in 22 years. So I think Pete is, like Sanders is saying, could be a huge contributor and something to turn that around. Now they've gone 8-8 4 times in all of those years, but still they've yet to have a winning season.
Did they not have
outside of 3?
Okay, I was about to say I thought they had a good season with Derek Carr before he broke something.
They have lost in the wild card twice with Derek Carr. One he did not play in,
That
and
was
the other
probably the
they
injury
lost to the Cincinnati Bengals, who went on to play in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
As far as their schedule goes, I think the schedule is a factor in them winning more than 2 games as well. They play the AFC South, and they also play the NFC East, which means you'll get the Giants game.
Sure.
Which I would expect to be a win since I have the Giants on 0-17 candidate watch.
Yep.
I
I also I had that as a win.
they'll be
I hope.
fine in
You
division.
do not.
I do not. That's my Giants fluke game.
Fine in division.
Well, I had to give the Giants a couple games too, which is why the Giants don't win here. But it
Yeah.
is how it goes.
I think they'll be fine in division. I think I'm gonna enjoy watching them. Because I'm really gonna try to get Brock Bowers in as many leagues as possible because I expect him to be absolutely elite this season. I do want to look at week 2. Massive game there. My guy, Geno Smith, host your guy,
This
Justin
is
Herbert.
This is
on
the ultimate
Monday Night
bragging
Football.
right game. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And we have reverse picks on them as well. So I would like to place a wager here,
I'm down.
right here and now, between us two over that game. Since
Wait, so we both
it's
have
prime
the-
time.
We both have the Raiders winning, so we both have our guy losing, right?
No,
Am I looking at
I have the Raiders losing, and you have
That's what he's saying. It's
the
reversed.
Raiders winning.
That's what I just said. We both have the Raiders winning.
Oh, you're okay. You're talking
Yeah.
about them.
Yeah, my bad.
But this is
So-
between this is between y'all.
Herbert's not his guy though. Jaden Daniels is his guy. Justin Herbert's your guy.
Oh, so
he's like
you-
Justin
Slash
Herbert's
your
guy.
team. Slash your team.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
That's more importantly. I am wearing a Geno Smith jersey.
Uh-huh.
So
A
Geno
Seahawks
Smith
jersey.
is my guy, and I'm a Raiders guy this year.
Okay.
I would like to place a wager on that game since it's prime time,
Uh-huh.
second week of the season.
Yeah.
Um,
Do we need to wait till odds come out, or is that going to be a...
I mean, we could get the spread on it right now. But what are we thinking there for a potential
Dude, I'm not a betting guy. You
wager there? I'll get you the odds on it, just so we can see. My guess is the Chargers are favored by 1.5. But let us see. What's your guess, Jack?
were right
You
last
said
time
who's
you
favored by
guessed.
1.5?
He thinks Chargers
I think
are favored by
I think the
1.5.
Chargers are.
It's
favored
in
by
Los
1.5.
Angeles.
It's in Los Angeles.
No, it's in. It's
I
in
was gonna
Las
say I thought it was
Vegas.
in Las Vegas.
What? You said week 2?
Week 2.
I think
Oh,
it'll
I'm
be
looking
Chargers.
at
I think it'll be
that one.
Chargers 2.5.
I'm looking at the wrong...
Hold on. Here it is.
Wait,
Gotta
is it 3 points in the NFL? Is that kind of the standard?
3 points is A typical home field advantage.
Then I'll say 3.5 because I feel like the Chargers will be favored
Or
over the
why
Raiders.
is it not there?
I think the Chargers will be favored over the Raiders, and then you add the 3 points for home field advantage. If we can find this could be tough. Should I tell my Geno story real
I'll
quick?
find it.
I found it I found it before. I don't know why it's not
Should
popping up.
I tell my emergency podcast story? All right. Geno Smith gets traded to the Las Vegas signs of traded. Not right? It was a trade. And I text the guys and I was like,
No, he's signed.
But it was because of the Sam Darnold trade, kind of. I think that maybe is where you're like,
except did Sam Darnold just signed too, I think. I don't think
yeah, you're right.
it was all free agency. I think Geno signed with the Raiders before Darnold signed with the Seahawks. Anyway, Geno Smith
week 2
ends up
last year.
on the Las Vegas Raiders, and I texted the guys in the middle of basketball season, which I'm not the biggest basketball guy. I prefer football. And I said, emergency pod, ? And I got clowned. Like, why? This doesn't matter. Geno Smith doesn't matter. And I was like, no, this is important. And the reason I think it is important is because of the way I view the Raiders. Because I view Geno Smith as the kind of quarterback you bring in if you have a very good roster, like the Lions.
Sure.
All right, I view him as a Jared Goff kind of quarterback that you bring in to distribute the ball to weapons like JSN and DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I don't think the Raiders have those weapons. And so when he ended up in Las Vegas, I was like blown away. I was like, why are the Raiders doing this? What kind of team building approach is this that they have a pretty incomplete roster, in my opinion, and they're bringing in a veteran quarterback to try and win, but I don't think they have the roster to win. That was the whole reason it was a team building podcast, is I didn't understand the Las Vegas Raiders approach. I think they have a young roster, right? They've got Ashton Genty. They've got young wide receivers. They've got a young tight end. I was like, I don't understand why you're bringing in a 30-something-year-old quarterback to try and...
He's been top 10 in a lot of categories.
Correct. Why are you bringing in that guy to try and win with a young roster that I don't think is ready to win right now? He's 35.
So that they can win.
But that was my whole thing, is I don't think the roster is in win now mode. Like JP said with the Broncos, that they're a year or two away. I would say the same thing about the Raiders, where...
They got to be further behind, I feel like.
Yeah, I would say they're a couple years away from being...
I mean, because the Broncos are basically... you have them going
being
10-7.
From being like...
Super Bowl contenders?
No. Like AFC, like get out of the
Winning
division.
a playoff game. Because
I
they're
would
never winning the division as long as Mahomes is the quarterback.
Yes, divisional is what I was going to say. Getting out of the divisional. So winning...
So getting to the AFC
championship
game.
I think the Broncos are like a year
They're
or two
never
away
going
from
to do
being
that.
capable of that. I think the Broncos with that roster are a year or two away from being capable of that.
I don't know if I ever trust Bo Nix to get me there, personally.
We'll
as
see.
good as he was
That would
last year.
require Bo Nix winning 2 playoff games. Because he's not going to be the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah, that's fair. I just don't.
Back on track.
I don't think that the Raiders have that kind of roster. I think they're a very young roster, and so I didn't get bringing in Geno Smith to what I view as an incomplete roster currently. That was the whole reason I wanted an emergency podcast. It was not because I thought Geno Smith going to the Raiders meant the Chiefs should be shaking in their boots or anything. It was not anything like that. It was just I don't get it, and I still don't necessarily get it. I get it now more that it's had time to simmer, but that was the whole reason. What was the other thing? Oh, the Stephon Diggs
Yeah.
thing. That was before.
Yeah. The Chargers are favored by 3 points week 2.
I was so close. I said 3.5.
We
so
split it.
I would like to take the 3 points in this bet, unless you're going to give me better odds on a money line.
And
But
probably
you're saying
there
just-
has to be zero.
You're just taking the
have to be
Raiders
any
to cover,
monetary
is what
value.
you're saying. We're playing the spread.
I would
here.
like to play the spread, but we can. I wouldn't mind playing straight up either,
I think.
since they're at home.
Let's just do straight up.
Okay.
So it'd be like, would that be even? No, that'd be slightly in my favor.
What would you like to put on the line, sir?
I don't know. I don't know how to bet stuff that's not money.
I mean, something that I was thinking, but this isn't. It's not that big of, like a punishment. It's not that big of a
That's
thing.
fine. It doesn't have to
But,
be
like-
cut off a finger.
Well, obviously, but or this could even just be part of it. But like, okay, say the Raiders win,
Okay.
right? You got to take to your social media
Oh.
and like act like you're a Raiders fan for the night, or like post the Raiders.
Tweet. I would like you to tweet. Geno Smith is better than Justin Herbert,
I think that's very fair.
Oh.
And he has to
And-
tweet Justin Herbert is better than Geno Smith.
and you can never delete it.
Okay. And if the Chargers win, not cover, if the Chargers win, you have to tweet Justin Herbert's better than Geno Smith.
I'm fine with that.
That's pretty good. I'll take that.
Terms settled.
Yeah, that's
Bet.
that's a good bet. Who
And-
came up? Was that you that just came up? No.
I mean, I was in the same vein.
Yeah.
But he landed
The socials
plane.
was a good idea. I didn't know where you were going with it, and then JP cooked
Socials
with the-
just the best way to do it realistically.
Yeah. Am I
So-
allowed to?
I was thinking almost like a fantasy football punishment, like loser does the Wendy's 4x4 or something.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to
That's
be
what I
like
was-
loser cuts
that
their
was-
best player off
What
their
was the
team.
bet we were talking about earlier?
Oh, that would have been crazy.
Like
too.
you have Jamar Chase. You have to give
Loser
him Jamar
trades
Chase.
their first round pick for the other person's 14th round pick.
Nope. But once again, that's too far away.
Also, that'd get vetoed.
That's how you have to do a tactical first round pick there.
Yeah. You just
Ooh.
sandbag.
Yeah, I take like
Is that
Josh Jacobs. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
fine first.
There's no point really in doing that, though,
No,
to
not
be
at
honest,
all.
because you might as well just bank on yourself winning,
Yeah.
because you're making yourself worse at that point, regardless.
Yep.
Is that it on the
Also
Raiders?
I think that is everything for the Raiders.
I think we should circle back and just kind of re-land the plane, even if we already have.
I'm down.
Because
Las Vegas Raiders, we disagree a lot on.
one of our biggest discrepancies, probably.
Yeah.
8-point swing.
If not the
Across
biggest
3 people,
discrepancy.
yeah.
Like against the high, like an 8-game swing between the highest and lowest is probably the highest.
Tech Foul Pod agrees with me a lot. Can you go back to that?
Yeah, Tech Foul Pod.
I have the exact same schedule.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Me and us as a group. So
Are
I
all-
like kind of was the driving force.
How about that?
yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
It kind of So that's probably
Well, it makes sense.
Because one's so high and one's so low. Like
Yeah.
I know it
to
does.
each other out,
But
but yeah.
I mean, the Packers is 6
Still, you
games
hold a lot of
between
impact.
me and JP.
sure.
That's probably going to be the high. Oh wait, the Lions. No, because the Lions is also 6 between JP and
You have the Broncos winning the division. How about that?
you. Yep. So we have a lot of discrepancy on the Raiders. I'm low. JP is high. We have a bet based on week 2 and the outcome of that game.
Which I like because I kind of wanted to bet on the Raiders because I think you're a little crazy in your prediction, and I personally don't see them hitting double-digit wins.
Yeah.
So I like that there's something
You want to
here.
bet on that?
Then I'm hit
Double-digit wins?
16-1.
No, don't take those odds, Jay.
No. that is what the odds would kind of need to be, though. I mean, maybe not
Yeah.
quite that.
For
but
you,
They are
probably, yeah.
plus 420 to make, or they were plus 325 to make the playoffs. They were essentially the same odds for the Broncos to win.
That 3-1.
Yeah,
And to make the playoffs, you're probably gonna have to be at that. You're
you
gonna
would have
the
to
9
probably
to
win
week.
10 games in
Yeah.
the AFC.
So they're roughly 3-1.
I don't see it happening personally. But
Yeah.
anyway, we have them going 6-11 as a group. That can round out our I did not expect to talk about the Raiders for this long.
I did not either.
Well, it started with a Geno Smith.
Well, even
Herbert,
taking that
but
out.
Yeah,
still.
fair. But yeah, that will get us into the Los Angeles
Contentious
Chargers.
Chargers.
I did
Jack has an announcement to make.
I do.
But we need to have this video. So throw the graphic up there. Is this graphic?
It's already
there?
up. Yeah.
All right, so the video is started, and now you can make your announcement to start the video.
Sure. The Los Angeles Chargers, one of my favorite football teams. But more importantly, Sanders would like to say something, no?
Yes.
I have selected my NFL team. It has been heated discussion, heated debate between the three of us. I have been saying I don't want an NFL team because I just enjoy watching football objectively as opposed to being committed to a team. And they have been insistent that I have a team, going so far as to assign me a team. They assigned me the Miami Dolphins, who I have never claimed and will never claim. But in the last probably 4 weeks of doing all this preparation, the last 4 to 6 weeks, we have been not arguing about Justin Herbert versus Geno Smith. And I have been convinced, almost driven to it by JP's hatred that I want to be a Chargers fan. It also works conveniently because I'm a Padres fan.
That's insane.
And so, are y'all good?
That's funny.
Would you like a Los Angeles Chargers bathrobe to commemorate your fandom?
that could be you, man.
Dude, what is the logo?
Only 55
What logo
bucks.
is that?
I don't know.
It's a terrible logo.
It's only $55 though.
What logo is
They
that?
made like
That's
a-
atrocious.
It's
It looks like
Your name here. Oh, you put your name
my
on
name on it, dude. Can I hang that in the studio too? It's like decoration.
I think you
Just
wear
wear
it.
it.
Wear it,
Wear it on game day.
Yeah.
Wear
And you
on
can just-
game day?
yeah.
Dude, nothing better than getting home from church, putting on your Chargers bathrobe, and sitting down and watching football with the boys. We need matching bathrobes. If I'm going to have a bathrobe, we all have to have a matching
man.
I
bathrobe.
might get a Saints one. We'll see.
Okay.
That's fire.
I
Sorry.
have chosen to be a Los Angeles Chargers fan, in part driven there because JP has been dogging on Justin Herbert. And in the
That
Justin
can't be
Herbert-
the only reason.
it legitimately has it is in part because you have driven me to be a fan of Justin Herbert, and also because they are from San Diego.
Okay, I'd rather you go that path, please.
I also think we should take some credit for this as like forcing his hand into making a
also-
pick.
Yeah, if you hadn't been constantly telling me
you
I
would
had
just
to make,
not be
I
a
would
fan
not be
still.
a fan of
Correct.
anything.
So
It's going to take some personal growth. Like Jack said, I picked them to lose to the Raiders, which Jack's pointed out is not very good fan of me.
you're new.
fandom.
You're
You
learning.
also don't have them winning the division when you don't have the Chiefs winning the division.
Yes,
You must not be very high on Justin
the
Herbert.
realist and objective fan in me is still struggling with the fact that I'm a Chargers fan.
I mean, there's
I am a Chargers fan. I went home and ordered a Chargers helmet for the
sick.
studio, so that's coming.
we're ready
in the
to
mail.
roll.
I hope it's here for the first episode of the new studio, but that's coming in.
Could I? So you're a new Chargers fan. You probably have brought the grand total to like triple digits in terms of Chargers fans in the world. I don't think there's very many of y'all.
I know one. I know
So,
one. My dad's best friend is a Charger fan.
My next door neighbor was a Chargers fan because he loved Philip.
We should have a
Rivers.
group chat.
But you could kind of become the pioneer in
He's
this
55, so
Cool.
Chargers fandom space. Like
What,
it
I could be a
you.
pioneer?
Yeah,
I
it can be you and that girl that showed up on TV.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
the-
yeah. Who is
Y'all-
actually a Vikings fan?
Yes,
is she? Because I
there
thought
was a
she-
clip of her in a.
I thought there's been multiple clips of her multiple places.
I think she. I don't know.
The Vikings was the other most notable, but
Okay.
maybe there was.
I'm just saying she's available potentially for a little. We could have her on the show.
That would
Yeah,
be sick.
that'd be awesome. Yeah. So me as a Chargers fan, I did not get to do as much prep for this preview because I was so busy with the Denver Broncos winning the division preview.
Insane.
Prioritizing a
I've got a
division
lot of-
rival over his team.
Yeah.
I've got good prep.
If you've got good prep, JP, I'll do.
Well, we're
a-
just about to throw up all the graphics that's already been seen about Justin.
No,
Herbert.
I've actually got different graphics.
Oh,
yeah,
sick.
we said we weren't going to talk about Justin Herbert. And the
Do
Geno
You have some
Smith.
positive. Well, no, we're gonna talk about Justin Herbert.
Yeah, but like not in like a.
No, I'm talking positively.
Yeah.
And I things I'm hopeful for.
Yeah.
Now that you're officially a Chargers fan,
Here's
I
what to
will
look forward
only
to.
say positive things for the most part about your team.
I appreciate
No
it.
different to the way I talked about the Commanders. in
Means
that
a lot.
Video.
That's so nice.
Year 2 of Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh together. A successful season last year, going 11-6. Herbert was unbelievable from a statistical standpoint, especially with the low percentage of interceptions, and given the weapons available, he did a great job in year 1 with Jim Harbaugh. But then just Justin Herbert was who he was and threw for 4 picks, more interceptions in one playoff game than he had thrown for the entire season. And so now, for whatever reason, that has been just wiped from people's minds, and we are high on Justin Herbert, and we're high on the Chargers again this year. It's a trendy pick to actually win the AFC West and not the Broncos. I have not heard that yet until today. But Herbert is poised to do that, and I think the biggest thing for the Chargers and why I'm high on the Chargers and I have them going to the postseason and higher on them than I am on my own Las Vegas Raiders is Jim Harbaugh has been a winner everywhere he's been. San Francisco, Stanford. Eventually, he was a winner with Michigan, which in large part was a huge thank to the COVID season, hitting a full reset, and then they made the playoff every year from there. In the draft, they made a huge addition in Omari and Hampton to add to a running back room that lost J.K. Dobbins. My biggest thing I'm looking for Herbert is if you look at his 2021 and his 2022 season, and specifically 2021, which you can throw up either of those graphics when you get a chance.
Yep.
He was unbelievable. And what I want from Justin Herbert going forward is, while, yes, the weapons were better at that point, I want him to release the football, and I want him to throw the football around, and I want him to be more aggressive. I felt he was way too passive,
Sure.
even given the weapons. I want him to be the highlight reel that he was coming into the league, and the highlight reel that he even was at Oregon, where he threw for, in 2021, 5,000 passing yards, 9-8 record before making the post. Actually, no, this was the year they missed the postseason because of the they decide to try and score,
Yep.
and the Raiders kick a field goal,
Yep.
and the tie doesn't go through, and the Patriots make the playoffs instead of
Very Chargers of them.
the Chargers. And yes, it's very historically Chargers of them. So good luck with that, Sanders, in your lifetime as a Chargers fan. You're going to go through some hell with that. I will just put that lightly.
I told Andrew I'm used to it as a State fan.
Fair. That is fair, which some other State fans wouldn't understand. But that's agreeing with me on my side. That's actually kind of crazy. Maybe we'll table that and come back to that later. In that year, he also threw for 38 touchdowns, 15 picks. Now, it's the highest amount of picks he's had in a single season, but in his 5 seasons, most passing touchdowns, most passing yards. In his 2021 to 2022 numbers, he was great as well. And the big one for me, and why I said he was not clutch earlier, he hasn't been clutch as of late. He was really clutch in those 2 years with 10 game-winning drives, which is something you're looking for from quarterbacks to win big games. My big other kind of holdback on Justin Herbert, and I don't think he got this graphic in there.
The playoff teams won.
Against playoff teams?
Yeah, I did. I think so.
If you did, throw that up there. This is...
Yeah, last
This-
3 years against playoff teams.
This sticks out so much to me like a sore thumb, and it's, again, another reason I'm just lower on Herbert. And if we want, we can, again, blame the team around him. But it stands out. The comparison is from a lot of people, and not you guys specifically, is putting Herbert almost up in that class with Allen and Lamar and Burrow. And even in Sanders' case, the 3 guys that he has in the A tier are Justin Herbert, C.J. Stroud, and Trevor Lawrence. And Herbert doesn't even stack up to them against playoff teams in the regular season the last 3 seasons. Geno Smith, of course, is better because Geno is better in my eyes. But I think I'd love for someone to potentially speak to this. Is this something that's we could expect to change? Because this is the problem that I would see right now. Now, this is against playoff teams that made the playoffs in that season.
Sure.
So if we wanted to look at this season, Kansas City's going to be in the postseason for sure. We look at Washington, more than likely they're in the postseason. The Philadelphia Eagles are in the postseason. That's 4 games right there. Someone from the AFC South has to be in the postseason. That's 5. Someone,
Yeah.
We already picked 2 from the NFC East, but Pittsburgh is a chance to make the postseason. Denver is more than likely making the postseason this year. So we're looking at like probably 7 playoff games, which is the way I view them, is they're playoff games in of themselves because they're against playoff caliber teams, and you have to be able to play up to those standards. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to prove yourself come postseason time. So is this something we could expect to potentially change now that we have year 2 with Harbaugh and Justin Herbert? I'm thinking no.
Sure.
Although only one of those seasons against playoff teams was with Herbert, but he also only had 1 win against a playoff team last year, and they were 11-6.
Yeah. I think it's something that could get a little better. The biggest thing for me, and I don't like, it's a tangent, I guess, answer your question, is like this is we're getting to year 2 under Harbaugh, right? They've made sure to shore up the line. They get the running back that they expect to be the running back of the future, their franchise running back. They get him in the first round. But there's still a lack of outside weapons, which we've seen at this point in his career Herbert needs to really put up the stats he did in 21 and 22. And they didn't go get those for him. And so he's going to be pigeonholed again, whether it's the right decision or not, as kind of play, as you said, more safe. He's in a more of a game manager role in this current rendition of the team. And that's not really utilizing his strength and skills very well.
Yeah.
So it's like if they were that last year, and I expect the offense to play out very similarly this year, I do think it'll get a little better just because it's like year 2 of the scheme. You are adding a running back that I think it can be pretty dynamic. Trey Harris could, I don't know if he can be this world beater, but he could at least provide some quality reps and a quality target. So I don't expect them to go in maybe, you said there were 7 games?
Yeah, you could project 7 or so.
Even if you just go win 3, I think that's an improvement, and that I would like 3 or 4. I would be happy with that as a Chargers
as he
fan.
had in 3 seasons.
Yes, correct. But I think it's unfair to be like, he's done this the past couple years. The offense around him hasn't really changed that much. Oh, let him go 5-2 or 6-1 against playoff teams.
I'm not expecting that.
Yeah.
Because I look at that and then you compare it to even to the guys that he Sanders has him on the same level as C.J. Stroud, Trevor Lawrence. It's not a huge difference in amount of wins even at all. It's really just the losses that makes the difference there. And I would not expect them to even get to the Herbert, or not the Herbert, but the Lamar Burrow, Josh Mahomes.
Yeah. I am a little, like, the way Harbaugh's Michigan offenses ran,
Yeah, that's exactly the point I was going to
I'm very worried, I guess, for Herbert's future in this offense, as, like, he may just always have to play this more game manager type role because that's what Harbaugh wants from him, right? They may never look to just be explosive and fast on the outsides. That's likely never what they're going to prioritize as Harbaugh. Now, they could end up getting someone like that because, those things still happen. But, like, he just may never really have that luxury of having a plethora of outside weapons.
It is.
And he's going to have to figure out how to work around that.
Yeah, it's a concerning trend that Harbaugh wins a championship at the college level with J.J. McCarthy at quarterback, and there are games where McCarthy throws like 15, 20
They
pass
ran
attempts.
the ball 21 straight times against Penn State.
Exactly. Like situations like that where it's almost like passing the ball is not even a second thought. It's like all the plays with passes he just left at home. And then he comes into the NFL, returns to the NFL, makes his debut with the reappearance with the Chargers, and gets there, and guys like Keenan Allen are gone. I think tight end, they had a decent tight end who's gone, and it's almost like they're changing the identity to match the identity of that Michigan team. That is powerful offensive line play, first round running back, and now it's like, well, is this just going to be the Michigan team at the NFL level? And that team won a championship, but it does not seem like the best use of Herbert's talents. And while he did make mistakes at that, in that wild card game last year, losing to the Jaguars, throwing 4 interceptions, it would be, I think, silly to be like, well, he threw 4 interceptions in one game. I guess we're going to have to limit him to 15 pass attempts a game and just run the ball 40 times with a Marion Hampton. And it's a good offensive line, and there could be some success there, but it would just be a waste of a guy who has thrown for 5,000 yards multiple times and who has thrown for single-digit interceptions, 3 interceptions in one season as a starter over a long, like, not even just 3 games. He played double-digit games, threw 3 interceptions. That would be very sad as a Chargers fan to see that talent wasted like that.
Now, he did prove he could game manage pretty well last season.
True.
And take care of the football. But as a Herbert fan, that's not necessarily what I'd love to see.
24 touchdowns last year?
Yeah, the biggest thing in terms of game managing for me is, like, if you're just going to look to be more of a game manager and be safe with the football, that better, like, show up in the interception column.
Yeah.
You better, like, if you're going to make safe throws, you better not somehow turn those safe throws into picks. Like, you better not miss a linebacker jumping a slant because you think that's a safe throw. Right?
I think that it doesn't really make sense I don't think that a game managing team is going to be able to beat a Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like I think it's going to be up to Harbaugh to find the balance of if he does want to play this game manager team, but find a weapon for Herbert and know when it's time to dial up a shot or, it's time to let Herbert cook and go make plays. Like, it's got to be situational. It can't. You're right. I don't think you're going to beat Josh Allen being a sole game manager, ground and pound team, or Patrick Mahomes doing that.
Right.
You're going to have to find a way to kind of sprinkle in and use some of Herbert's arm talent.
I think he's just looking. I think the way they're building is try and go against the mold of what the AFC is right now.
Yeah.
Which is overly reliant on quarterback play.
Yeah.
I wish they relied more on Herbert because I do think it's there from a talent perspective.
Also just makes it more fun to watch.
It also, yes, I agree. It's much better television. But I think their goal is, it's the way they kind of attack the draft as well, and the way they attacked the draft last season. Like, they're looking to just build a really, really good roster, a la Philadelphia Eagles,
True. Yeah.
49ers, or the teams of the NFC, because I think that's something that Harbaugh is comfortable with. I mean, think of the Michigan team. There were players everywhere. They were not elite at quarterback. Arthur McCarthy was very good. They were definitely not elite at receiver. They're good at tight end with Colston Loveland. They're two great running backs. The offensive line was good. The defensive line was off the charts with Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham. And then the linebackers are good as well. Will Johnson out there at corner. Like, I think they're looking for it, and I think they already have the pieces. And I think they're a year away from potentially having that kind of roster with, you got the left tackle of the future, and you just extended Rashawn Slater.
Yep.
Joe Alt, who they drafted last year. I think the Amarian Hampton pick tells the story for me of like, okay, let's go get a really good running back who we are just really high on and can be productive for us for a 4-year period. The Trey Harris pick, I think, was a solid pick, even though he did play for the school up north. I think the speed threat could help them a ton. I would almost kind of predict him to be potentially the second leading receiver for this team.
That's their hope. I would almost guarantee they drafted him with that in mind.
Yeah, with the way Quentin Johnston has played, I don't.
And you lose Joshua Palmer.
Yeah, Joshua Palmer was a huge consistent piece for them, and then defensively, like I think they're a good amount of draft picks away over there, but you have pieces there like Tuli. I'm not even gonna say his last name. You know his name. The edge rusher from
Pelotu, I think.
Yes,
I think that's right.
the edge
Tui
rusher
Tuipulotu.
from Ohio State. Khalil Mack is still there with that team. Derwin James fits that, but like they're gonna need a ton of pieces there defensively. Now the defense was actually really good last season.
Surprisingly so, I would say.
Yeah,
given-
Khalil Mack had a really good season last year. That's what I thought.
Given the talent that they had, so I think that's could be partially Harbaugh getting a ton out of them. My question to you, Sanders, is looking at the schedule. Now, this is going to be a question for me, and I guess we'll ask it at some point. Actually, no, I've already deemed it. I think I might have said it in that video. For the New Orleans Saints, if whoever the starting quarterback is,
right.
Rattler or Tyler Shuck, if we win at Buffalo, I will purchase the uniform of that said quarterback. For you, what game does Justin Herbert have to win for you to purchase a Justin Herbert jersey this season?
Or what does he have to do this year, even if it's not necessarily a specific game?
I think he has to earn it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obviously beating my division champs, Denver Broncos. No, I'm kidding. The hardest game on the schedule is at Kansas City. I feel like that's kind of the clear and obvious.
Yeah, they kind of got shafted having to host Kansas City and Brazil there.
Yeah.
Well, hosting in Los Angeles isn't necessarily a great
Also true.
home field advantage.
I mean, it's also very interesting. It's either that Kansas City game or, in all seriousness, that game at Denver. Because that game at Denver could come down to a playoff spot on the line.
100%.
So I'd have to think about it a little bit more. And the Denver one would be more situational, like what all is at stake going into Mile High Stadium. Like, are you playing for a playoff spot? If you listen to me, are you playing for, are you trying to keep Denver from winning the division? Like, is it Kansas? Like, what all is at stake going into that game? But clearly the hardest game and the most impressive game would be if they can go into Kansas City and win that.
Yeah. My second question is, if you see week 5, you play an important team to another member of this desk, what is the wager on that game?
That's a good question.
What do we
This
already
is the only time 2 of our teams are playing this season. The Saints play neither the Chargers or the Commanders.
All right.
This is the only opportunity for said until the Commanders and Saints meet in the NFC Championship, and then Commanders, Chargers, Super Bowl, of course.
So the Saints are good enough to get the NFC Championship, but not quite good enough.
No, I think it would be more likely like Saints win the South and the Commanders are second.
Oh, okay.
If this
We matched up
seed.
first round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I heard you say NFC Championship, and I was like,
Well, that could happen too. It's actually probably a higher chance than the Broncos winning the division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
you
fair.
think Saints all right.
Yeah.
What do we want to put on the line here, Coach? Do we just...
That's a great question.
Same tweet.
Except that we both agree that Justin Herbert is better than
No, I think he's saying I'd have to tweet that Justin Herbert's better than Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Well, see, what happens if I lose both bets?
Then you have to have both of them up there.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Well, what happens if I lose to you and say Geno Smith is better
I
than
have a
Justin
better
Herbert?
idea.
Hold
I
on,
have a
hold
better-
on.
no, no,
Hear me- But if I lose to you and have to say Geno Smith is better than Justin Herbert, but then beat him and say Justin Herbert is better than Jaden Daniels. Therefore, I'm saying Geno Smith is better than Jaden Daniels.
Well, Geno Smith does play Jaden Daniels week 3.
Yeah,
okay, well
true.
then, yeah. What's your better idea? That would have been a wild.
So I'm an A&M fan. You're a State fan.
Oh god.
I think you may have to let it gig 'em.
I've already said.
Tweet gig 'em.
Oh.
I like
Or
that.
something, or like after a big A&M win, be like, "Let's go, boys!" Like big
Except-
win, and
okay.
then I'll roll after a state win whenever that happens, and be like, "Proud of the team, Hail State, go Dogs!"
I don't feel like that's fair though because it's like that's like an even, right? I should have better odds than that. If I can get spread.
So you have
right?
the Chargers going 10-7, and you have the
Chargers host the Commanders. I'll get.
I feel like the
spread, though.
Commanders are going to be favored in that game.
Yeah, I don't feel like by that much though, to be honest.
I would expect the Chargers to be favored by a point.
A point?
These are both two pretty good teams.
Man, maybe I am too low.
Los
on
Angeles
my
by
team.
1.5.
Los Angeles is favored by
Wow.
1.5. Yep.
So theoretically, I'm giving you better odds
All right.
here.
So if the Commanders win, I have to tweet Gig'em, and if I feel like I got to craft something better because I feel
I
like
think we wait till the following weekend when our team plays.
Yeah.
And you tweet something about the result of the game. If it's a win, you're like, "Great win, boys! Like proud of y'all, gig 'em."
yeah
If they lose, it's like, "Tough loss, proud of the fight.
yeah
We'll get them next week, gig 'em."
yeah
And vice
okay.
versa for the Bulldogs.
I just feel like Gig'em is so much like I got to come up. I have to cook up something.
I can say Hail State.
Gig'em means more than that. It means more.
You've said it before.
I have said it
I don't know.
unironically.
Yeah.
Hanging out with you has
You
made me
could-
a closeted
Jack
A&M
has to
fan.
wear a Mississippi State shirt to the Texas A&M game.
Oh,
See, that's massive stakes. You have to wear A&M
Or-
shirt to the
or-
A&M game then?
That could I would.
wait.
that
Does
one
that
or-
work with timing? When is one of the? Because that's
We play
It'd be
Yeah,
posted.
It should be fine. It'll be over. Okay. I've got a state shirt you can wear. If you've got an A&M shirt, I can wear.
Yeah, I can.
All right. That's fire.
That's crazy.
Freak, bro. Hey, I already said I wanted to wave a towel for the.
True. You're
I
gonna
can
be
get you
wearing
one of
a
those,
wearing a
too.
shirt.
I wanna be a part of power at A&M.
Well, you can you can look the part, and no one will look at you
I
weird
mean, I'll be
because you'll be wearing an A&M shirt while doing
Yeah,
it, so no one
yeah.
will be like,
Yeah. If I was wearing a state shirt while I did it, that would
"You
be pretty
couldn't,
tough.
you couldn't."
I'll
I'd
be
probably-
singing.
Yeah.
I'll
I want to wave a
I'm-
towel.
I'm
It's
gonna
too-
vibe to power. You're not gonna vibe to Kanye West. Not vibe to Kanye West.
Yeah.
I should say.
Uh,
To close, unless there's any other thoughts.
no, that was a good bet. I'm excited. This has been some good bets today.
I agree.
I hope I don't go over 3.
Questions
over
to
2.
be answered this year, of course. Justin Herbert, is he better than Geno Smith? We'll get to see that twice this season.
Yep.
Exciting times.
The Chargers open the season tomorrow in the Hall of Fame game.
So you
between
starting for him?
Trey Lance
Yep.
and Hendon Hooker, and there's a chance DJ Uiagalelei plays for the Chargers.
He's on a
technically-
roster?
Technically, the backup for Trey Lance.
So if Trey Lance
Wow.
gets hurt in the Hall of Fame game,
Yes, DJ Uiagalelei.
we gotta get Duncan on that.
That is,
He is on the roster
Give
right
the
now.
people what
as
they
the
want.
fourth string quarterback. It is DJ Uiagalelei.
Massive.
that's big.
That would be insane to see. But yeah, we'll get you that bathrobe too.
That was so
Sick.
funny, man.
With
I
your
just like
name
look
on it?
over and I'm
Y'all
like,
were dying. I was so confused. I was pouring my heart out to all my Chargers fans out there.
and we're giggling about a bathrobe. We all have them pretty much in the same spot. I have
Yes.
Yeah.
one total, one higher.
Jack is actually the true Chargers fan here. Sanders.
I
has
low
them
key
at
may like the
7.
Chargers more than Sanders at this moment.
This is
No
true.
way. I'm a diehard.
I've been on the Herbert train for a while.
This is true.
Ever
Jack
since it's-
also has the Chargers
But
as the fifth
you got to
seed.
think though. I'm the.
You're actually the
I've got the
lowest.
young love thing. Like
You're the lowest on the Chargers this season.
I got the puppy love thing going for me. You're like your
That's
love
crazy.
with the Chargers is like old, but I'm like new, so
Sure.
it's like more real.
Sure. I mean, I just remember like I watched a lot of Oregon.
Now.
Herbert. I was crushed when Arizona State beat Oregon that season
Sanders and I are.
with Jaden Daniels. Crazy how the
Sanders is higher on the
Yeah,
Commanders
wow.
than Jack. I will say.
Oh well,
By
then
a game.
yeah.
But see,
don't
I-
give me crap.
no,
Don't
because
give me
I have
crap.
realistic optimism about the Commanders.
Yeah.
That's what I have. 10-7 is a real like what?
You have no, but you just don't have the right blend. I can't be like fandom is stupid if I have the Commanders going 17-0. But you have them finishing third in their division.
Yeah,
I have my boys winning the division.
that is true. But also, your boys are better. Like
I have the Saints 9-8.
That's realistic optimism right there.
That's a way higher chance of that happening.
He's
than
taking so much
Broncos.
crap for that, by the way. That's
Deservedly so.
he wears it because he's a Saints
Hey,
fan.
no,
I don't care.
that's fine.
Keep doubting.
I'm about to take a lot of crap for this Broncos TikTok. It's
You
gonna be
see,
tough.
my thing is you can't say keep doubting at any point in the season because you're actually the lowest on the Chargers on this panel.
That is fair. Wait, me and you are tied.
Yeah, but you have them as the 7th seed and I have them as the 6th seed.
What they gonna say now?
Yeah,
You're the one that said it.
yeah.
Uh,
You see the Chargers taking a step back this year compared to last year.
Were
and
they the 6th seed last year?
They went. Well, they went
They
11.
were 11 and 6, and they were the 5 seed.
Oh, wow.
So you think the Chargers are bad this year?
I think it's gonna be they're gonna get.
He thinks the
passed
Broncos
by-
got better.
I think the Broncos got a lot better. Not actually. The Broncos are gonna actually.
When
yes,
technically, I would say the Chargers added the better running back. One of your
They
big
did.
selling points
did.
about the Broncos. Now, I will
they
say
certainly did.
the Broncos running back room was crap last year.
Correct.
The improvement is, but yeah, cool.
That closes out the NFL.
I think the Broncos' leading rusher averaged 30 yards a game
That's solid.
He's now
behind
a
the
Cowboy.
number one run block win offensive line. Like it was bad.
See, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
That finishes out the NFL.
And
Rooting
who's there
for the
with him?
Chargers now, you can't.
No, he wants you to have to.
Yeah, but how
Andrew
do you
McBride said he's rooting for the Chargers so that Jack has to wear a state
how do you
shirt
root
for the
against
A&M
the
game.
glory that is Jaden Daniels?
Nope, he
For real.
wants to see you in an A&M shirt.
Huge
or a state
huge
shirt.
question I have actually real quick about the Chargers. I'm sorry to backtrack, but
No,
it's
It's
something
not
that's
gonna
been
be
on
part
my
of the video.
mind.
It's not gonna be part of the video.
That's fine. How much does it matter if Justin Herbert? You have to see a picture of him at training camp. Actually,
Okay.
how much does it matter for win loss or in general if he has grown the hair back out or if he's still rocking the shorter buzz or if he like what's the does his hairstyle matter in confidence at all for you?
Nah. I think he can do it either way.
Okay.
He's one of the lucky few that can rock it either way. Kind of like you. I mean, you.
Oh, thank you.
You've rocked the buzz. You've rocked the long hair.
I would rather see him in the flow.
Yeah. I think the flow to the buzz was so great because it was such a drastic change, whereas you aren't going to get that kind of change going from buzz back to the flow because it's got to grow out and take time.
He is a Cowboys fan. He makes a good point about
Yeah.
saying how can you not root for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
I'm gonna while you wrap it up, I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of Justin Herbert.
That's a great point.
That
JP, continue.
Closes the NFL after a month-long journey.
Yep.
We are through the NFL predictions and still haven't done our big NFL show yet either. So we're excited for that. But as a group, the Technical Foul picks have in the NFC the Commanders as the number 1 overall seed, followed by the Los Angeles Rams at the 2 seed, the Lions and Buccaneers 3 and 4, 5th seed Eagles, 6th seed Niners, 7th seed Cowboys. That is 2 new playoff teams after last year. And in the AFC, we have the Buffalo Bills as the number 1 overall seed at 16 and 1. The Ravens a step behind at 15 and 2. The Texans as a 3 seed, and then the 4 seed Kansas City Chiefs
Crazy.
barely holding on, as the Chargers are with the same record but lose the tiebreaker as the 5th seed, the Bengals 6th seed, and the Broncos 7th seed, meaning we have 3 total new playoff teams, meaning we don't know ball. Our predictions are already wrong.
Who are the 3 new teams?
The
Bengals,
Bengals,
Broncos,
Niners, and Cowboys.
What about the
The Broncos played the Bills in the
yeah,
playoffs
yeah.
last year,
Yep.
which was part of the reason you have them winning the division.
Yeah.
For me, I have the Green Bay Packers at 12 and 5, number 1 overall seed. Commanders, Rams, and then the New Orleans Saints as the 4th seed. I have Chicago, Philly, and the Niners as my 3 other playoff teams. That is 3 new playoff teams in the NFC. And in the AFC, I have the Buffalo Bills as the number 1 overall seed as well. Then the Ravens, Chiefs, Texans. My 3 wildcard teams are the Bengals, Chargers, and Raiders. That is 5 new playoff teams, which is one off
Close
the
enough.
average threshold of 6 new playoff teams per year. Sanders has the Commanders also as his number 1 overall seed in the NFC. Then he has the Lions, Niners, and Buccaneers, followed by the Eagles, Rams, and Cowboys, 2 new playoff teams. In the AFC, Buffalo, tied with the same record as the Ravens, but he has Buffalo winning week 1, which wins the tiebreaker. And the number one overall seed he has is the 3rd seed, the Denver Broncos, winning the AFC West for the first time since Peyton Manning. Patrick Mahomes played healthy this entire season as well. The Texans as the 4th seed, the Bengals as the 5th seed, and the 6th seed, Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City Chiefs as the 6th seed. Chargers, his team, as the 3rd best team in the AFC West, and the 7th seed, which marks 3 total new playoff teams for Sanders, nowhere close to the threshold. Jack has the Lions at 12-5 as his number 1 overall seed in the NFC. The Commanders, 12-5 as well. Rams, Falcons winning the NFC South. Eagles, 49ers, and Packers as his 3 wildcard teams. And then in the AFC, he has the Broncos, the Ravens as the number 1 overall seed, followed by the Bills and Chiefs, Texans, Chargers, Bengals, and then the Broncos in a 5-way tie as the 7th seed, which is still to be determined and will be revealed on the full NFL show. But that is only 3 new playoff teams, so maybe you'll have some work to do before the NFL show, or you can stick your picks. Regardless, that closes out the NFL. Any final thoughts before we eventually get to our final NFL episode? And then just, I guess, 10 minutes or so. Doesn't have to be 10 minutes. It's already getting pretty late.
I was about to say, we were already here for 2.5 hours.
This is the final episode we'll ever do in
theory,
this
hopefully,
studio.
Knock on wood.
Most likely.
Cross.
This is the final episode we'll ever do in
All
the
right.
studio.
Well, I guess we're locked in then.
If we
Given that
don't record in the new studio, we'll just record on the drill field or something.
Yeah.
I've got the portable
That'd be kind of
mics.
fun. We could get into the stadium probably. No, we couldn't.
About to say, okay.
Maybe on the dude. But
I like that
any
idea.
final remarks for the Rejector and this studio itself? Sanders.
No, it's been fun. Had some good memories here. Not plugging in the sound to the soundboard was peak. Throwing 2 hours of our life away twice.
Mm-hmm.
One time it was my fault. One time it was Jack's. There have been some interesting, NFL draft live stream, our first live stream, electric. I had goosebumps literally the entire day getting ready for it. So
Yeah, that was fun.
I'm ready. I don't know. Some more of the decorations came in today, but not all of them. I told Jack, it's like, remember how it's the letters, right? All but 2 of the letters came in one box, and then the other 2 letters are coming in a different box on Friday. So don't know what's going on there.
5.
Why then just ship them all at once? But yeah.
I enjoyed you saying no and then immediately giving your final words.
Oh, that's fair.
But it's just it's
Well,
fun.
it was more of a supposed to be like a not really not like a lot, not 10 minutes.
Thanks to the Reflector
We haven't told them we're leaving yet.
for letting us use the space.
Facts.
And thanks to Lucy for throwing the idea out as a possibility for me and Sanders, and then we brought JP on board. With that being said, I'm very excited to get into the new studio.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. It looks pretty sick. Can't wait for that. JP, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I'm excited for the new studio. I think it'll change the vibes. It'll be nice being able to, I think, at least from the angle, look at you guys.
Yes.
It's a lot harder to like do this move all the time.
Yeah.
It'd also be nice to not have my mic swing away from me as it moves, which you can't hear me anymore because it moved away from me there. But I enjoyed my time here at the Rejector, which I will always call it. But thank you to the Rejector. Thank you to Lucy. Thank you to you, Jack, Sanders, the time we've put in.
Yep, it's been good.
It's
Making
been
it
fun.
sound like we're like breaking up the band. Like we're literally
And-
gonna,
we'll be back Sunday.
And we'll be back Sunday.
better than ever.
Better than ever. A huge next step in our process as we look to, we're going to work our asses off for a year and give this everything we got. And then we'll see what we've got after that. But
Aye.
fuck you to the followers. Not the followers.
What the freak? What the freak, bro?
to the haters.
That's crazy, bro.
Oh, man.
My apologies.
All
That-
right. All right.
He didn't mean it, guys. He didn't mean it. He didn't mean it.
Our subscribers, they're dropping. They're dropping.
Cut that one. But
yeah, I will definitely cut that. Yeah, in right here. Just
yeah, so thank you to everyone that's following and our
There we
wait. Did you mess up the? Which part did you mess
He
up?
meant
The
to say
followers.
haters. He
I
meant
meant
to say haters.
haters,
You
yeah.
did not
Okay.
accidentally say fuck. That would have been crazy.
yeah. But yeah, thank you to the followers, and we look forward to Sunday and a huge Group of 5 college football show.
Correct. That's what I was going to ask. Are we doing?
Should be
Andrew
G5.
just left. We're doing G5, and then are we doing all of college football and then coming back for our NFL preview show as
yes,
it's
we're
closer
gonna
to
do.
time?
Yes,
Yes.
we are.
Okay, just so the
We're gonna
followers, if we have any left still, look, that's what you'll have to look forward to on Sunday and moving forward.
Yes.
So with that
College
being
fo-
said, thank you all for tuning in. It's been a long live stream. If you're still here, we appreciate it. Shout out Andrew McBride.
Can we get a bolt up from our official new Chargers fan?
Bolt up.
There it
Do
is.
we have a hand thing? I wish I'll find out.
I don't know. There's a lightning
I mean,
strike.
I don't think the Saints
No,
have
what was
anything,
it you were
so-
doing the other day for lightning? That was
yeah,
your lightning.
bolt up.
Yeah, bolt up.
It was one of the dumbest lightning bolts I've ever seen.
Who dat?
All right. Thank y'all, and we will see you next time. See ya.
Peace.
Peace.